Yeah, welcome everybody into the RFGP Championship live here on Start Your Systems TV. I am Kellen Brower, and we are ready to go racing in Arco di Trento for the Trentino GP. There are 3 Italian rounds in this championship, so this one's called the Trentino GP. We had Rio Lasardo last week, which I did not stream, but we'll talk about that in just a minute. First of all, I just want to give a big thank you to everyone who's going to tune in tonight. Hopefully, a lot of you will sit back and enjoy the show. I think we are live on Start Your Systems TV on YouTube, as well as on Start Your Systems TV on Twitch. So again, big thank you to everybody that's here, and a quick shout out to Braden Tharp, Thick Boy BT, for subbing up his 3rd month with his sub on the Prime side. So thank you so much, Braden, for all the support. Yeah, we're streaming GPs now. A little bit of a last minute decision. Maybe you guys heard me on Pulp explaining why I wasn't able to commit to doing it before the season. I didn't even know that the season was like coming or was about to start or anything like that. But then went back, kind of sat down, planned a few things out, and I will be able to do the final 9 rounds of the championship. So from here on out, we will be streaming all the way through. I guess what I could actually do real fast is kind of take you through the upcoming schedule of events, so you guys will know what to expect out of the GP championship from here on out. So let me really quick load up the schedule. See if I can maybe get this to load. Apologies for that. All right, let's talk about the schedule real quick. RFGP, Race Factory Gaming presents the RFGP Championship. We'll load that up on the screen. So we missed Sardinia last week, but from here on forward, Trentino, we're going to the Czech Republic in Lockett next week, and then the final of the 3 basically Italian triple headers to start the season that we're doing with Majora will be July 8th, and then we'll have a first weekend off. Big shout out to a couple people. We just got a follow from Velasco. We got Dave Ladd 214 with a Prime sub as well. Thank you so much for the support. But from there, we will go to Spain, Arroyo Molinos on July 22nd, Portugal, Agueda on the 29th of July, and then 3 rounds in August. The 5th, we will go to Saint-Jean-d'Angely in France, Teutschenthal in Germany on the 19th, Kegums in Latvia on the 26th, and wrap up with this 10-round championship at Uddevalla in Sweden on September 2nd. So if you guys are with us normally on a Wednesday night, you will see that it's the same format, 2-moto format, both classes. That's the same thing that's going to happen here, and we are streaming the North American Championship of the series. It's where a lot of the players tend to go. There's obviously a lot of EU talent as well, and maybe we'll do a couple of those for funsies in the middle. I tend to like racing those, to be honest, but that is the upcoming schedule of events from here on out, starting tonight in Trentino and working forward into the next 9 rounds of the championship. So here's an overview of the racetrack here. We're going to get started here, excuse me, in just a moment. Beautiful racetrack, one of my favorite on the GP schedule every single season. It's kind of tucked at the base of the Swiss Alps on the south side. Thank you to Colin Holden. I might need to mute up the alerts. But anyway, base of the Swiss Alps on the south side, very close to Lake Garda in Italy, one of the most beautiful places in Italy. Maybe you could even say the world. And sits at the base of these mountains. Like I said, it's gorgeous, this racetrack, and usually pretty fun racetrack to watch races happen as well. Now, they have turned the track around from, I believe, the last time you may have seen us stream GPs in MX Simulator. We'll talk about that throughout the evening. We'll talk about how that kind of changes the dynamic of the racetrack. But yeah, we'll get into it here in just a minute. Jump back in the intermission screen real quick and give a shout out to a couple people. Dave Ladd 214 with that Prime sub, like we said, and Wicked CS also with the Prime sub. Thank you so much, or Wick DCS, I think is maybe how you say that. So thank you so much, and Levi Fry also coming in with a follow. And shout out to everyone over on the YouTube side. Not sure how many of you guys are over watching on YouTube, but appreciate the support all the while as well. All right, let's talk about qualifying and highlight a couple things before we go racing here. We're going to be racing in just a moment. Let's talk about qualifying, though. And we will zoom right in on the qualifying. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. There we go. Zoom in on qualifying. Enzo Butigny and Pablo Vial put the fast Frenchman 1-2 here in the MXGP class at Trentino. 136.0, 136.3 out of Vial. And then Jackson Shirley Eaglin inside the top 5. Last week's winner in this class was Braden Castellaneta. So he is the red plate holder. He was 15th in qualifying. And usually GPs don't get a full gate, but it seems as though you guys have come out to play. We have got 52 people running lap times out here. So I guess we're going to have consolations in GPs, which I can't remember last time that happened. And your current points leader in MX2 dominated the opening round last week at Rio Lasardo is Seth Carr at a 1:37.492, fastest qualifier here by almost a full second over Austin Partolo, Jack Gatlin, Colin Holden, and Wyatt Grant also in the mix as well. So those are your qualifying times. Let's talk about the standings and what happened at the first round of the series. The MX2 division, Seth Carr swept both motos and opened up a massive championship gap in the process, 16 points over Partolo. Gatlin, Rodrigo Cepeda, and Colin Holden inside of the top 5 there. Pretty mixed bag of results behind that. Basically, third back to 11th, separated by only 8 points right there. Third back to 12th, only 10 points apart. So really up and down MX2 opening round. And then the MXGP one saw an up and down opening round, but it was because it was a different moto winner in both races. Tyler Lang won the first moto, ends up getting 4th overall. Colby Eaglin won the second moto. Neither of them won the overall. Castellaneta goes 3-2, walks away as the opening GP winner at Rio Lasardo for the MXGP of Sardinia, and now has a 1-point advantage in the championship over Eagland. Leitzel, Lang, Marchini inside of the top 5 right there. So yeah, we're going to have fun kind of calling this action, calling this class, calling these races, and we hope that you will sit back and enjoy the show with us. All right, so it looks like we are in a bit of a holding pattern. While we are sitting here, we can go ahead and run through this racetrack real quick, and I'll talk about the change in direction for the racetrack. So start straight is not as long as it maybe seems. It's pretty short into this first turn. Swoop through the first turn, a left hand 180 and down past the mechanics area. For those of you American fans, that's where Ryan Villapoto's career ended, right there on that stretch of racetrack. Little U-turn at the bottom of the hill, and then get on the gas if you're on a 450 all the way to the top to try to pop this triple at the top of the hill. Land in transition, get to this inside, and then we got a little roller into a tabletop. Downside this into this corner. A lot of different rut options, inside, outsides, all around. The Race Factory Gaming track crew really went to work on making some options available at this GP, like this little inside here, tuck over that inside roller. We'll get all the way back to the inside right here. Very up and down racetrack on this. It's kind of like just a ridge, really, that this hill is situated on, and it goes up and down over this hillside right here. Get down into this corner, carry speed through there, and up and over the hill, swinging into that corner, a little lay it into the rut, double up into here. And like I said, a lot of different rut variations again. So then we got some rollers coming down, kind of downhill right here, so it's tough to get on the brakes into this. And then you float off of this guy, and a nice big floater triple. Lay it out for the crowd. Let everyone know how you're feeling tonight in Trentino. Roller wall jump into this, and then a step down off the top of the hill back into the center of the racetrack. Kind of takes you by all the fans out here. Hook this rut and maybe launch this triple out to there. Pop the triple up to the top of the hill. Make sure you can get this corner still. Don't want to go too far at the top of the hill. Launch out to flat. Inside, outside options aplenty over here as well. This is a tricky section of the track too, because this whole thing is kind of off camber without you really being able to tell. And then inside roller here takes you over that Race Tech finish line jump here to complete a lap at Trentino for the MXGP of Trentino at Arco di Trento. Left hand 180 and then a right hand 90 brings you back through the first turn complex and down past the mechanics area. That is a lap here tonight at Trentino for the MXGP of Trentino. Round 2 of the Race Factory Gaming Grand Prix Championship season. Oh, we're not going to get all the way up that triple right there, but that's okay. Who else is on the track? Pedro Barboza of Tryhard out here putting in laps. Shout out to iMoto251 for the Prime sub. Currently on a 3-month streak, and the stats guy out here having a good old time. And Joey Bradstreet taking full creds for Kellen Stream and GPs. Yeah, a little bit. I mean, when you asked the question on Pulp, you know, I was kind of thinking to myself, like, I want to stream a little bit more. I've been trying to stream more on Monday nights of lately. For those of you that are followers of us on Twitch, we stream Monday nights. Might stream Tuesday nights now as well. Just trying to stream more, trying to play some more games, get a little bit more fun stuff going on. And you'll probably also notice that the content variation has changed up a lot. So where Start Your Systems, the main YouTube channel, used to just be where I put everything. It would be all the streams, all the content, etc., etc. This year, I really wanted to take an approach to changing up the way that we did content. I feel that there's a niche that is not covered in moto gaming when it comes to making like mini documentaries, and you probably saw the new one that we released last week on the Start Your Systems YouTube channel, talking about the quest to beat Jacob's Ladder. That one's doing quite well. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that if you did get a chance to watch that. And well, Jack Gatlin, that's a great question you ask about the Gunnison Enduro. For those of you that don't know, we have a Start Your Systems TV YouTube channel. That is where all of these broadcasts and highlights of the broadcast will go. So check back tomorrow on Tuesday. If you don't get to see all of tonight's action, we'll have highlights up from this GP and highlights up on Thursday from the national race at Southwick. But there's also another YouTube channel that many of you probably don't know about. It is called the Kellen SYS channel, and that is literally just me personally. So if you go to YouTube right now and search Kellen SYS, all one word, that is where everything else is going to go. That's where track walks are going to go. That's where gameplays of me doing career modes in different games are going to go. Random game modes. We're going to bring back cat and mouse and stuff like that. That is also going to go at the Kellen SYS channel over there. So please, if you can, I would very much appreciate you going over there and subscribing to Kellen SYS on YouTube as well if you're a fan of my content. And the latest video up today, Mr. Jack Gatlin, is indeed a track walk / gameplay of Gunnison Enduro. So there you go. We checked it out over there. Coming up tomorrow, for those of you keen to see more content, we will be playing and reviewing Reaper Doc's new almost straight rhythm in MX bikes. So be sure to check that out as well. But that's where everything else is going to go. So I felt like I needed to change up the content plan with the main channel to make sure that we prioritize those kind of mini docs and getting as much content onto those as possible, or as many eyes on those as possible. And YouTube has a very specific way their algorithm works, where if you are posting similar content repeatedly, that's where it'll tend to kind of rank higher on the pages. But yeah, so 3 different channels now, maybe really 4, but I'll talk about the 4th one another time when we get there. But Start Your Systems is the main one still. That's where those mini docs will go. Start Your Systems TV is all of our broadcast content and highlights of the broadcast. And Kellen SYS is everything else. Gameplays, first looks, track walks, cat and mouse, like I said. We're going to do a lot of stuff over there, so please be sure to head over there and sub up, follow along for the ride, and thank everyone for the support, as usual. All right, so far so good. I feel like we're just cruising along here waiting for things to kick off. I know T-Lang dropped in the chat real quick, just for a quick update, said that they are experiencing some server issues that they're working on right now. So no problem there. We'll continue to watch Pedro Barboza on his Try Hard Kawasaki ripping some laps around this racetrack. And early lit kit over here. We got some custom-made Thor stuff. I don't believe they have that kind of like neon yellow Thor kit, although I could be wrong. And then nice little Alpine Stars SM10 helmet with the Alpine Star Tech 10 boots. Those boots are definitely custom. There's no shot that Alpine Stars makes an all-yellow boot with green accents, unless it's for Team Australia or Brazil. And Barboza is Brazilian. So, yeah. I did up the channel points for the golf commentary, which is basically eliminating that as a possibility, is what I did. I don't think we can do it again. It was met with criticism. And, yeah. Anyway. Hopefully people that were along for the ride back then enjoy it. Let's get an overhead view of this racetrack and give you guys a better perspective of what these guys are going to go to battle on here tonight at Trentino. Gorgeous racetrack as well. The way that it kind of flows in and out of the central valley of the track. I've heard that like fan viewing here is a little bit tricky. It's not the easiest one to take a look at, but regardless of which, the landscape itself kind of makes up for it all, does it not? I mean, look at the beautiful mountains in the background. Sometimes they even have snow on the mountains still. Awesome scenery and awesome place of the world, for sure. I haven't been to like this specific part of Italy before. I've been to Milan, which is about about an hour and a half or two south of this. But I have been to Austria, which is north of the Swiss Alps, and the places that I've been in Austria are maybe the most gorgeous places I've ever seen on Earth. And that's coming from, I've been to a lot of national parks in the U.S. too, so the Swiss Alps are incredible. And if you get a chance to go see them in your lifetime, I would highly recommend. All right, so it looks like we are rolling out the 450 Consolation Race first. I forgot to double check and see if we had enough 250 guys. I think 450 Consi is what is going out first here, because it sounds like they are 450s. Indeed they are. All right, so 450, well, MXGP Consi is what it's called. I didn't change the name of what these are all called, though, so you're just going to have to bear with me that it's going to say 450 Consi in the upper left-hand corner of your screen there. But 4 laps, top 4 riders go to the main motos. Just goes to show we have had a lot of people come out of the woodworks and start putting in laps. I don't know if that's specifically because I'm streaming. Maybe it is. I don't know. I don't really want to say that for sure. But I appreciate the support all of you guys continue to give. We have got Lane Burks, Zach Fisher, Donovan Palladino, Luke Scheffler, Pedro Barbosa, Van Vranken, Jet Wisdom, Ben McNevin, Bryce Foley, Frank Raffiani, JT George, Jesse Carter, Chase Donovan, Eduardo Simos, all going to line for this 450 Consi. 4 laps, 4 riders to the show. And it is coming up here in just a second. Zach Fisher of the Verbalicious team. Interesting. Don't know of Verbalicious. I do know of Verb Moto, Verb Media Group. How's the sound, by the way? I've been trying to play with my microphone. If you are listeners of the LVK podcast, you'll know that my microphone kind of was blowing out last week a little bit. So I tried to mess with it, and maybe it's a little bit too low now, but let me know if I need to up the sound at all. Either way, here we go. From Marco to Trento, we are off and running for the 450 Consolation Race. 4 laps, 4 riders going through. Lane Burks gets to the corner first. He's going to push out wide. Does anyone else get up the inside? They do. Burks comes out in about the 5 spot or so as Frank Raffiani grabbed the whole shot, but now Luke Scheffler on his Nexus ride is going into the race lead there. Donovan up into the 2 spot early on as all these guys on the 450s able to pop that triple at the top of the hill, and a mistake out of Eduardo Simos looks like, or maybe Frank Raffiani, excuse me, allows Lane Burks up into the 3 spot now. And Simos actually is in 4th there on that 71 Honda down the inside. Lane Burks alongside of him as they drop down off the hill here. Ooh, little front end tuck. Oh, double front end tuck. Burks and Simos and the 451 there of Troy. I don't know who that is. Is that Troy Jan? Isn't that his number in MX Bikes 451? I don't know. I don't know who it is. But we'll move on. Looks like we had a change for the lead as... No, excuse me, Luke Scheffler was our leader. We had another rider go down, though. And that appears to have been Chase Donovan out of the 2 spot. He's now back into 10th. So Luke Scheffler taking over the race lead from Eduardo Simos now. Zach Fisher has moved his way into the 3 spot, and JT George is now 4th. So a lot of triumphs in this one. Verbalicious triumph of Zach Fisher, and the Elite Decals triumph of JT George. These guys right now are holding on to the 3rd and 4th positions on the racetrack. Oh, and JT George goes launching as he OJs the big single at the top of the hill, swaps out, and goes down. Tough break for George out of a transfer spot. That will now allow Frank Raffiani up into 5th, and Lane Burks moved back into a transfer spot in 4th. So Burks on the Takatoji 251 got to the first turn first, but pushed out a little bit wide. Fell on the first lap, and still has found his way to be into a transfer spot as it currently runs. We have got a few more laps left to go, though, in this consolation race before all is said and done. And Zach Fisher is just trying to mind his business in the 3 spot. Up in The race lead, it is a battle starting to brew between Eduardo Simos on his SM Design number 71 machine as Luke Scheffler is leading this race, but it might not be for long. Dudu Mutumbinho closing that gap down, and we have a mistake from Scheffler. He goes down. Simos into the lead. Scheffler is going to get it picked up right as Fisher and Burks both leap over him. But fortunately for him, a bit of a gap now established back to JT George in the 5 spot. And Scheffler comfortably in a transfer spot still, although he is now the bubble spot. He is in P4. Needs to try to settle back down here. Little OJ right there. Oh, slide out. Lane Burks stands it up on that inside rut. That's going to cost him a lot of time. And JT George, now he makes a big mistake on the step down and goes off the track for a moment. Here comes Troy on the 451 ride. Frank Raffiani also hanging out back here, and then Van Branken, HM Designs, Privateer Island Life out here holding it down, and then Jet Wisdom on his Nexus Triumph also bringing up a little bit of caboose there in P9. So 2 laps to go. Simos, Fisher, Scheffler, Burks, top 4. And Burks is going to start feeling some heat here soon. JT George smelling some blood in the water now. So let's see if Lane Burks here can maybe settle it down a little bit again. Doesn't need to overthink it. He's in a pretty good position. Launching out over this tabletop. Using that middle rut. And still has just about a 2-second gap. Both directions, really. Right in front of him, it's about 2 seconds up to Scheffler. And then another, well, now almost 3 seconds back to Troy as Raffiani made a mistake. And Troy on the 451 ride. Still not sure who that is. I'm not sure who Troy is. Lane Burks is trying to hold steady in this position. Make it into the motos if he can. But here comes, I'm going to start calling him the Stig. He's the mystery man. Troy on the 451 ride. Closing that gap down. Let's go on board with him and see what his perspective looks like of this battle starting to brew, closing up on Lane Burks. As they step down off the top of the hill, everyone pushes to this outside line. Ooh, a little mistake right there. Only going to be able to double, and even kind of shorts the double at that, so loses a little bit of time because of that. And then a slide out, and it gets kind of high-centered on the inside, and then someone was off the track right there. That was Luke Scheffler. Now Scheffler loses a transfer spot as Raffiani goes by, and then all 3 riders are down. Raffiani, Scheffler, and Troy in a heap. 2 turns from the finish line jump allows JT George into the final transfer spot, and that is not ideal for any of those guys. You hate to see it. As JT George takes full advantage. I mean, you hate to see it if you're any of those guys. JT George is ba-da-ba-ba-ba, loving every minute of it. Now the question for the 284 ride here is, can he settle down and bring this thing to the checkered flag on the final lap? He is in the all-important final transfer position out of our MXGP class Consolation Race. The skins you'll send to the forums. There is a RFGP NA skins thread that I have been referencing, or you can be like all 38 other people who DM me skins in Discord. I would much prefer you put them on the skins thread, because while it's nice that you're sending me your skins, and I have them, which I thank you for, there are photographers, other streamers, videographers, and stuff like that that would love to make content in this game if only the people could put their skins in one place that they could download and create content from the races from, hence why there's a skins thread in the first place. So please head over there. Eduardo Simos is going to bring us home over the finish line jump, and the SM Design rider takes the Consolation Race in the MXGP class. Zach Fisher looks like he'll lock down second. Lane Burks is all good in third. And JT George is trying to hold on. Frank Raffiani is going to give it one last effort here, and George made a mistake. 2 turns to go. Raffiani's going to get it close. JT George swings out wide just to get a drive to the finish line, and he will go through, at least for now, 1.016 seconds was the difference. And we will have to see whether or not penalties affected that for JT George or not. Have to assume it won't. Frank Raffiani misses out. Troy, Luke Scheffler, Ben McNevin, Jesse Carter, Van Vranken, Donovan Palladino, Bryce Foley, Jet Wisdom, Pedro Barboza, Chase Donovan, all going home early here this evening, but Eduardo Simos is not. At round 2 of the Race Director Gaming Grand Prix Championship, round 2 of 10 from Arco di Trento at Trentino. And if you send me your skins right now, by the way, I literally can't do anything about it. I'm already in the server. So apologies. Wanted to do something kind of fun here, though, now that the consies are over. This is so silly. But I don't know if I want to say his name. Somebody made a script that shows how many sessions each rider did for qualifying. And this is that script. So if your name is on this, it shows how many different sessions you did to qualify, and we'll zoom in. Control plus. So this is how many sessions that each person did for qualifying here at the GP, and each session is about 10 minutes, 13 minutes or so, give or take. So Tom Quinault, caught in 4K, 30 sessions. Over here, putting 300 minutes into qualifying for the GPs. Honestly, what this really is a good indicator of how much track time each person has. So, for example, Pablo Vial was one of the fastest qualifiers, and he put in 24 sessions. They have a lot of track time, so of course they're going to be a little bit faster. But then also, you have some guys like Seth Carr, who qualified fastest in the 250 class. He only put in 11 sessions. So it kind of shows the difference in how much time each rider really dedicated into making sure that they were dialed and comfortable on the racetrack, which I think is kind of a cool thing to look at and just see. Like Hubbard, only 6 sessions. I'm sure there's guys down here that we'll see racing here in a minute that barely got any sessions in. Trevor Burns, Tyron Tomic only got 1 session in, for example. Lane Burks, for example, he only did 1 session. He literally came in here and did 7 laps on the track and makes it into the motos. So there you go. A lot of guys only doing 1 session. It's just kind of a cool thing to look at, I feel like, to show off, what these guys go through to try to qualify for these races. And if you're someone who is trying to maybe make it to the professional racing scene in this game, it shows you kind of the level of dedication it takes sometimes to even get a good lap that could get you in. Carl Novak in here freaking out that we're telling all of his secrets. You're good, bro. You're good. Chill down. All right, 250 Moto 1, a.k.a. MX2 Moto 1 coming up here in just a minute, 30 minutes plus 2 laps. The usual story. Top 20 positions in the race, score points, and everybody else kind of calls it a little bit early. Taking a look over at our YouTube chat, seeing if anyone's over there chatting right now. And they are not. Well, that's okay. Hopefully you guys over there on the YouTubes are doing well. And we're going to get into the server here for MX2 Race 1 in just a minute. 44 riders going to the gates, so they could have had a consi, but they chose to back row some guys. I respect it. We got Xander Brion, Marcondes Feitosa, Troy Jones, Jeff Cooper, Caden Speck, Max Wilczek, Jack Gatlin, Seth Devers, Jeremy Schiabro, Hunter Ash, Tyler Nichols, Ben Nerona, Joey Bradstreet, Joey Carter, Evan Runzaville, Colin Holden, John Heilman, Seth Carr, Carson Bolin, Austin Schaefer, Alex Zellner, Alec Horn, Seth Creedy, Nick Niles, Zane Durrell, Dylan Dallaire, Tyler Blowers, Aiden Baker, Zach Ritchie, Dylan Gatlin, just to name a few. Still got 14 more rider names to get through, but we wanted to get back in the server. Zach Ritchie, George Cook, Wes from Temecula Motorsports. Who else out here? We got Corbin Menon, Wyatt Grant, Maverick Snyder, Braden Tharp, Austin Partolo, Jax Lindsay, Jeremy Siebold, Talon Zollers, Ryan Swanson. And I think that is everybody. Emmanuel Cepeda, not sure if I got his name. That's everyone going to the line here in 250 Moto 1, aka MX2 Race 1, the Race Factory Gaming Grand Prix of Trentino. Catch the fever, folks. Who you got? This first race of the night to kick things off. Our first time streaming GPs since 2019, 2020 maybe? It's been a minute. Xander Brion representing Minecraft out here tonight. He's having a dandy old time. And shout out to MCoolP for the 1 bits that he donated 7 minutes ago and said Franker Z1. I don't know what that means, but thank you regardless. And appreciate the support everyone gives at all times. Alrighty, it's go time here at the RFGP of Trentino. Everyone's loaded on the gate. Everybody is sizing up that board. The 30 card is going to go sideways. Our track crew gets out of the way. 30 minutes plus 2 laps in Arco de Trento. Here we go. 54 machine gets to the corner first. He's going to get pushed out wide and sneaking up the inside. A whole host of Panini Motorsports rides. It is Seth Carr who grabs the whole shot though. And he is your red plate holder. Went 1-1 last week. And he's already off to a great start here. A ton of Panini riders right at the sharp end of the field in this one. Braden Tharp, Austin Partolo making a 1-2-3 Panini sweep at the moment. And Carr is trying to get away at the front of the field. Shout out to Gavin, 1959, gifting a Tier 1 sub to Start Your System TV's community. And it looks like it has gone to Panic Rev Ray. So shout out to Panic Rev Ray and to Gavin, 1959 for the support. Thank you guys so much. As we continue to watch Seth Carr go to work here in the race lead. And the Panini sandwich has been dissolved. Maverick Snyder moves up into second early on. Max Wilczek now in third. Joey Carter, good starter. Always finds his way at the sharp end of the field, and he is in fourth. Jax Lindsay rounds out the top 5, and there's those 2 Panini boys. Austin Partolo and Braden Tharp on the 10 and the 5. They lost a few positions and let all these guys go through. As the fights are starting to develop, man, Seth Carr is capital G-O-N-E at the front of the field already. 3.7 second lead here before the first lap is even done. He's been awfully fired up in the Race Factory Gaming National Championship, and it looks like that intensity has carried right over to the Grand Prix circuit. Lap 1 in the books. Carr leads from this battle on screen right now. Snyder, Wilczek, Joey Carter, Austin Partolo. Rounding out your top 5 here on the opening lap. Everyone, I think, at this point in time is really just trying to get some lines laid into the track a little bit. Kind of know where everyone is going to be going eventually. But with 44 bikes on the track, of course, the track will get kind of dug out that little extra bit more. And I think each of these riders are going to take their time in deciphering what the optimal line will end up being. Because right now, all just jockeying for positions and going as fast as they possibly can. Yeah, Austin Partolo. We're seeing more and more of those kind of crossover rides. This nice move down the inside by Wilczek. Oh, and he almost goes through the front door and then gets shoved out to the outside. Oh, huge takeout. Snyder did not see Partolo coming and cut the corner off, jumped right onto Partolo's back, and down he went. But as I was about to say, with Austin Partolo now battling Wilczek for the 2 spot, it's cool to see the MX Bikes sim crossover that continues to happen, where we have more guys that are really good at both, race at both. And Austin Partolo, one of those guys known as Juice in the MX Bikes community. And as Brock W letting us know in chat, Juice got P5 at High Point in MX Bikes, and that was on Friday. So this is only 2 days later. Jumped back over to this game, and here he is moving into second at the RFGP of Trentino. So pretty good all around. Good stuff, no question about it. By the way, any of you MX Bikes players in here, curious to know your thoughts on the potential of me either streaming some bikes, or my more likely plan is to have some people send me the replay files from each MX Bikes race every week and do like some highlights stuff, where we highlight the action for the aerial racing series. Not sure if anybody would care to see that. Hopefully it's something you guys would be into. But let me know, and let me know if anyone can get me in touch with the person that would most likely be able to get replay files. Because while I don't know that I could commit to streaming Fridays, I don't know that I would even want to step on Navo's or Cupcake's streams. But certainly, I play bikes a lot. I like it a lot, and would love to stream some stuff if potentially the opportunities are available. But let me know. Just reach out to me in Discord DM if you have the ability to get those replay files. Would certainly love to do that. Back to our race leader, Seth Carr, coming up on the 5-minute mark here of MX2 race number 1. And Carr is in cruise control, 1:39.343 out front. Teammate Austin Pardelow 7.3 seconds behind already. And Seth Carr on his number 38 Panini Motorsports Fantic is making it look awfully easy at the front. Just hitting all his marks, flowing. You can clearly see where some of the main lines are already. Yeah. Well, I mean, and on the flip side of it, if streaming is ever a possibility, I'd certainly love to stream MX Bikes. I'll reach out to Navo and talk to him. Navo and I were going to work together for the, I think it was called the Supercross of Nations, I believe, or Supercross of Teams. SXOT sounds right now that I think about it. And we were going to co-stream that, co-host it or whatever in MX Bikes. And unfortunately, the guy that was putting that whole thing together kind of turned out to not be all there with putting the event on. And it sucks, because that would have been really fun working with Navo. Reached out to both of us, we both agreed. But I'll talk to Navo and see if we can't come up with a solution. Like I said, I don't want to step on his toes. He does a great job. But anything I could do to pump some MX Bikes love from my following, I would certainly love to help out, if at all possible. So Carr continues to click off low 140s, this time a 140.07, coupled with his 139s that he's been laying in. But Pardelow this time kind of matched him, 140.296 out of the number 10 ride in P2, so still right at that 7.5 second gap. And Pardelow's just kind of trying to keep his teammate on his toes as much as possible. It looks like, for those asking in chat, they have lapped George Cook and Corbin Menon in 43rd and 42nd place. Troy Jones on his 106 ride appears to be out of this moto. Pardelow now 10 seconds back, and then Max Wilczek coming up the hill in third for iSpec. 105 ride just kind of hanging tight here. As much as he can with Pardelow. Pardelow's done a pretty good job of just finding his little zone in the second position on the racetrack. So let's go back to this one. We got a good battle going for fourth. Colin Holden and Jeremy Siebold, we just lost Maverick Snyder off that battle as he tucked the front end. But this is your battle for fourth place on the track right now. This is a great fight too. Almost dualies, not quite close enough, but good little fight here. Oh my gosh, Colin Holden launching to that outside berm. Seems to be fired up right now on his digital worldwide machine. circling to the top of the hill. Curious to see whether or not Seth Carr's kind of like tire tap line thing is better, as that was Wilczek off the track on the 105. He gets on right behind Seabolt, and now this Seabolt-Wilczek battle becomes the battle for fourth, as Colin Holden moves up into third place all by himself. The drag race past the mechanics area and swooping to that outside berm. They are just on the gas all the way through, and a big crash. Seabolt swapped over, and down was Holden as well on the 275. So this is changing up a lot of our top 10, because Seabolt crashed out of basically what was going to be third and goes all the way back to 8th. Gets on ahead of Joey Carter. Emmanuel Cepeda moves to 7th. Wyatt Grant is now in 6th place, and Holden picked it up in 5th after his little crash. So Snyder now 4th, and Wilczek is 3rd, but he's going down at the top of the hill, and he's in a really bad spot here. Guys got to be careful over the top of the hill not to be too far right. And so far everyone's been good, and fortunately no one else goes down with him. And Wilczek now gets going right behind Cepeda and then goes down again. Oh, Max Wilczek falling apart here. After being up into 3rd, Colin Holden just kind of high-centered in that rut as Wyatt Grant went by him, and Cepeda's taking full advantage of this. He has gone from about 8th to 4th in the span of half a lap, and then Snyder, his Takatoji teammate, goes down right in front of him to give him 3rd. And Snyder's in a bad spot here as well. He's got to get out of the way before more guys land on him. Did a nice job of doing so, and now Colin Holden right up alongside Wyatt Grant. And all this crashing has pushed this entire 3rd place and back battle well off the race lead. These guys are almost 40 seconds behind now, as Carr and Partolo continue to just click in good laps, and this Wyatt Grant, Colin Holden battle for 4th is relentless, as we see one rider disconnect right there. Grant made a mistake and just went full defense, cut across to make sure that Holden didn't get a drive up the inside line. Clever racecraft right there from Wyatt Grant on that rear fender. You can see that rut is starting to get a little notchy on exit, and Grant's got to go front flip at the top of the hill, and he's down. Must have hit a kicker in a bad spot. Holden goes by. There goes Maverick Snyder. There's Joey Carter going through, and Wilczek will also check in and go around him. Is that Alec Horn going by? It is. Alec Horn on the Nexus Triumph going through, pushing Wyatt Grant all the way back to 9th. And he's going down again at the top of the hill. This time he's going to hold up Jeremy Seabolt. Tough break, because he was in such a good position, and it's come unglued so quickly. But we've seen that now 2 or 3 laps in a row with these guys up here. As Evan Runzeville now has found his way into this battle. He's in 12th. He's got John Heilman pretty close behind him. And like I said, man, all this crashing has done is really spread out the field. So look at where our leaders are. Mechanics area exit right there for Seth Carr, as excuse me, Partolo goes in through the mechanics area. So now 1st and 2nd for them. And then we're not even to the finish line jump. We're still 3 corners away, as Cepeda deals with pressure from Colin Holden. These guys are 36 seconds off of our race leader. Outside to in, Cepeda holds position. So Cepeda down through the mechanics area there. Just keeping the power down as much as he can. Up to the top of the hill, right versus left, inside versus outside for Cepeda versus Holden. Who's going to get the advantage in this battle? It is still very nip and tuck. And Holden down the inside is going to make the pass stick and puts a lapper down with it. So Colin Holden makes the move into 3rd place, and nicely done in the end. Didn't even really need to force the issue, just kind of waited for a small mistake, saw an opportunity, and away he goes. And then as soon as I say that, he makes a mistake and goes off the track and allows Cepeda right back by. So all that work was for nothing. He's got to go right back to the drawing board and do it all over again. Don't worry. I feel like now I have faith that this time it's going to work for him. We'll find out. So it's still Carr, Partillo, Cepeda, and Holden here on our screen in fourth. Maverick Snyder has found his way into fifth spot. Not too far off of that battle either. Like that line. Kind of feels a little bit stop and go by having to go to that inside right after swooping the outside, but it's just so much momentum carried. And poor old Maverick Snyder has gone down. Going through is Joey Carter, Braden Tharp, and Wilczek also going by. And very tight fight right there with, who is that on the 2? The 121, excuse me. It looked like it was just a 2. The 121 of Aiden Baker, speed in 121. Rider down right there was Tharp. Tharp has been very up and down this moto so far. Good start, crashed early, has now charged his way back into the top 10, but is crashing still. Ooh, swapping down the backside of that jump right there. Got to be careful if you're Tharp. Don't want the rear end to kick out and put you on the ground in a hurry. Back to this battle right now between Holden and Cepeda, still going at it for third place. Cepeda does not look done. He looks keen to go back after the 275 right there of Colin Holden. Let's go on board with Cepeda for a lap and kind of see how the track is developing, see where the lines are going. A lot of bumps to that inside line, but if you can kind of swoop it, it looks like he missed most of it. And then everyone's going to this inside. You almost double into inside rut. And then the only way that that inside rut works better than the outside is if you can really apex over that roller after it and carry momentum down the mechanic straightaway a little bit more so than you would if you had to stop and go to the inside. And both these guys going for the triple. Little case for Cepeda. Colin Holden is kind of sneaking away. Got around a lapped rider and continuing to open up that gap ever so slightly. 2-second advantage. Back to Cepeda. That was a little bit tight right there with the lapped rider. And Cepeda just doesn't even care. Goes straight on at the bottom of the hill. 1.7 seconds the gap. You can just barely still see the flash of Colin Holden disappearing up the road. And as I say that, he goes down. Colin Holden now goes over the bars and is going to lose a ton of time in his fight there with Emmanuel Cepeda. But fortunately, fourth place is as far as he will go. They have a big gap back to fifth now that has been established. Whoa, whoa, we got some chaos going for the leader, Seth Carr, dealing with lap traffic. And oh, look now, Austin Partillo is knocking on the door of opportunity here. We are past the halfway point of this first moto. I think Austin Partillo fancies a piece of his race-leading teammate here. Doesn't really seem to care too much about Seth Carr having a massive championship lead already, winning the first 2 motos of the year, potentially on his way to winning the 3rd moto of the year. Doesn't care at all. Just on a mission to go take him down. 4.4 seconds is the gap, and last time by, Partillo was almost 3 whole seconds faster. I do, though, wonder if it has a little bit to do with the lap traffic situation both of these riders are dealing with, which seems to be extensive. Trying to see if we can get a number on one of these lappers and see where we are lapping up to. That is the 229, I think. Yeah, the 2. 235, excuse me there. We don't have their... Yeah, they're not using 239, whoever it is. And then that is that the 16 of Zellner? Looks like it could be. No, it's the 117. How am I not seeing this? Okay, that's Jeff Cooper that they are lapping, and Jeff Cooper is in 15th place. So they are deep into the points-paying positions. So Jax Lindsay on the Minecraft machine is actually 111 on his pit board, but 235 on the bike skin for some reason. And here's Jeremy Schiabro, who's in 14th place, moving out of the way of Seth Carr very nicely. Looks like Partolo went down. That's going to do it for that fight. Seth Carr's got a huge advantage now, 15.5 seconds. No A-Wood tonight, Cyber Designs. It is just me, lone wolfing it, charging through 3 hours of streaming like it's nobody's business. All right, let's see some of this action back here. Maverick Snyder and Braden Tharp separated by about a second. And this is your fight for 5th place right now. Tharp has got it. Snyder would love to take it back. And they're about 10 seconds behind Cepeda. So they'll have some work to do to even get to that position. Snyder is keeping Tharp honest, even though Tharp has been putting some of the best laps on track together of late. That last time by was not a good one, and these guys having to go around some lap traffic didn't help either of their situations right there. Neither of them able to get the uphill triple at the top of the hill right there. So down to the final 10 minutes and 2 laps of race number 1. I feel like if you're Tharp in this situation, it is kind of limit the damage as much as possible. He's still got 11 seconds to think about getting Cepeda, but you also cannot allow Snyder back into the picture, because if Snyder gets there, then Wilczek will be pretty close behind that. He's only 2 seconds behind Snyder. And unbelievably, our race leader looks like he is now lapped up to 9th. Ooh, Cepeda is down with, is that Joey Carter? No. Who is he down with? He was just down with a lapper. And a few other guys getting out of the way here. So Tharp is going to close right up on Cepeda now. Only 2 seconds in it between those two. I mean, this ride by Seth Carr is sneaking into discussion of all time, because there's a very real possibility he laps up to 3rd even still, depending on how things go. There's Cepeda. Oh, and as I say that, he goes down. He's only about 4 corners behind who we were just watching there, Manuel Cepeda. And he is going to almost get landed on by Schiabro. And then end up side by side with the 54 machine there of Joey Bradstreet. And Bradstreet is in 10th place, folks. So Seth Carr right now is trying to lap 10th place on the racetrack. The problem is, because he crashed, a lot of these guys are like, man, I already let you pass me. Like, just let's make it happen. Whoa, somebody got dragged like a wet salad over that jump right there. And Carr, Schiabro, and Bradstreet all nose to tail here, although Carr, the only rider now on the lead lap, has lapped up to 9th place. There are still just 8 riders left on the lead lap of the race. And they are Carr, Austin Partolo, Colin Holden, Braden Tharp, Max Wilczek, Emmanuel Cepeda, who just got Tharp and Wilczek. It looks like they both were down together. And there is Wilczek, who must have gone down again because Tharp just picked it up. And then Joey Carter. And Maverick Snyder. And then our leader is right here. So Maverick Snyder in P8 still on the lead lap, but it might not be for long. Through the downhill wave section for Seth Carr. That is a very nip and tuck maneuver there for someone getting back on the racetrack. That is the 5 81, I believe it is. I don't even see that number on the list here. Or maybe the 501 of George Cook. And yeah, yikes. We got some guys going 4 or 5 laps down now in this race. And Seth Carr is having to bob and weave his way through it. So it looks like he is now either lapped Joey Carter. Yeah, he has lapped Joey Carter. Carter's behind him there in the background. So next up would be Wilczek, who's in 6th. He's lapped 7th place. Maverick Snyder also gone a lap down. And Pardelo's now trying to get around all these guys as well. There's Colin Holden. Cepeda versus Tharp up the hill, drag race. And Tharp around the outside is going to get it. Some tells me, though, Emmanuel Cepeda is not done, and this has been a pretty good job by Tharp to limit the damage and get back into a position where he can maximize his points haul. We're almost back to that Panini 1-2-3 we saw at the beginning of the race. Almost there again. Siebold anchoring the team a little bit right now in 17th, but otherwise we are 1-2-4 for Panini Motorsports, and Tharp is trying to bring them through. The only man breaking up the spell right now is this guy, Colin Holden, Digital Worldwide. And as I say that, I need to stop clicking to these guys, man. We go on board with Colin Holden. He yards it. He's going to pick it up still in 3rd, but that gap will now be about 14 to 11-ish seconds between Holden and Tharp now, and Tharp would certainly like to make it a Panini 1-2-3 if he could. That would be fantastic in his opinion. And here's Seth Carr now with a 30-second lead in this race. And mind you, we still have 4.5 minutes plus 2 laps left of this thing to go. So we still are looking at probably 5, maybe 6 more laps, depending on where the timing loops kind of work out to be. And Seth Carr is just honestly riding ridiculously well out front, and all the credit to him because he's still in the 142s. His teammates at 143.9, Tharp at a 42.5. Everybody else is 46, 7-ish. Dylan Dallaire did run a 144 last time by in P9. But otherwise, it's been all Seth Carr just putting in the laps out front, honestly. And this is Wilczek right there on the 105 that he has just now lapped. There are only 5 riders still on the lead lap. And I think Seth Carr, now at this point, I mean, he's got a 38-second lead in this race. At this point, it seems like it's just a mission to lap as many possible people as he can. And Cepeda's in the rollers just ahead of him. So can he get it to a point where everybody not on the podium is a lap down? I feel like that's where he's headed. And mind you, he crashed only about 2 or 3 laps ago. So this could even be a gnarlier proposition. He would be only about, give or take, 5 seconds behind his teammate Braden Tharp to lap him as well. Colin Holden is a minute and 14 seconds behind Seth Carr, and he is in 3rd place in this race. And this man that he is trying to lap right here, Emmanuel Cepeda, basically a minute and 40 seconds back. Still has not been lapped yet, but he's got the blue bar at this point. He knows Seth Carr is there. I think part of it is these guys, you get in this position and you're like, man, my moto's going so well. I'm in the top 5. I don't want to be lapped. Like, that makes my whole moto feel so much worse than it should be. Oh, and speaking of commentator's curse, just looked over and read Critter 32's comment and then looked right back up to see Seth Carr flipping through the air, and he looks a little bit annoyed by that. Wilczek went back by. So now the top 6 are still on the lead lap. Here is Max Wilczek, and I'll show you what I mean if it happens again. He's about 3 seconds ahead, so yeah, he's going to get it any second now. There it is. You can't see it actually because I have the bottom thing on, but at the bottom of the screen is a blue bar that appears and shows those types of riders getting put a lap down, how far back the leader is from getting around them. And for a brief moment there, or will check, it literally just said 0.7 and then the blue bar was gone. But he was obviously on the ground and Seth Carr just swooped right on by. 158 ride going a lap down right there. That's Carson Bolin. He is now the first rider 2 laps down. And the 90, I think that is, or maybe the 95. It's certainly the 90 machine of Harrison Gafford. In 34th place is the first rider 3 laps down. All right, so he checked in with about, give or take, 40 seconds still on the clock. Excuse me. And we're looking at 3 laps to go right now to be 2 next time by. Is Bartolo still dealing with all the lap traffic he's dealing with. So, as an example for how chaotic this is, he's 51 seconds behind race leader Seth Carr. So there's Carr lapped Maverick Snyder in 6th. Right now, Bartolo is lapping Alex Zellner in 17th. So there are 11 points-paying positions between 1st and 2nd on the racetrack right now. And then Colin Holden, Braden Tharp, Emmanuel Cepeda, all just kind of doing their thing. I think Cepeda's got the blue bar. He does. There's Seth Carr right behind him over that racetrack roller. And look at it. It's just troves of lap traffic on the side of the track right now, letting the leaders go by. Because at this point, some of these guys are getting the blue bar, and you don't even know, is it the leader? Is it 20th? Oh, and Carr's down again. So the quest to lap everybody to a podium position looks to be about over. Well, I say that, and then Colin Holden has an earful of Braden Tharp, and he's only 3 corners ahead of Seth Carr. This is your battle for 3rd place right now. I don't know what happened to Colin Holden. He just ran a 2:09.2. That has to be at least 2 fall-off crashes, if not 3. So I don't know what the heck he did. Apparently angered the MX Simulator gods because they gave him one of the worst laps he's had all night long. Oh, and he's swapping up the uphill. Gotta be careful not to put too much into it. You might loop out. But these guys right here in this fight for the 3 position are only, give or take, about 10 seconds ahead of Seth Carr. So if they start fighting each other, and then Carr's able to lap Cepeda, not out of the question that Carr can lap up to a podium position, which would be ridiculous. Inside option for the 5 of Tharp. Doesn't quite work just yet, but I like it. Try something different. Try to make a pass happen here because Colin Holden's controlling most of the main lines. So you got to think outside of the box, or think outside of the rut, as we would call it. Thank you, Critter. I know I got a little cough going on. I'm still kind of getting over losing my voice last week. So the hydration is much appreciated. And we'll keep it fresh here tonight. Whoa, Holden down off the side of the track. Not off the machine, but he did, looks like he maybe pirouetted twice and will lose that position to Tharp. It is a Panini Motorsports 1, 2, 3 on the racetrack now. Unbelievable. And Cepeda right here in 4th, or 5th, excuse me, is still in danger of being lapped. As Carr works the final lap of the race. Looks like he maybe crashed again, and timing and scoring Just hasn't updated yet. These guys right now are all basic. Everyone's running upwards of 10 seconds off of their early moto pace. Some of the lap times that they were running early on. And you can see why, man. This track is getting pretty roached out. Excuse me. That's one thing I wish we would see in Sim is, you know, like if they could download this track right now, save it, and then upload it for Moto 2. So you just, if you're in the 250 class, you just have to run this track at the start of their moto, and then let it get it more roached out from here, and see if, you know, the results get affected or anything like that. It'd be really cool. I know JLV is working on a lot of other stuff with 4K terrain rendering and stuff like that, but I hope someday we get to the point where we can have the terrain just carry over. Maybe so, I don't know. Either way, this man right here has done nothing but dominate to start the season. Goes 1-1 at Rio Lizardo last week to kick off the GP Championship and leave with the red plate. Rolls right into round 2 at Trentino and dominates MX2 Race 1. It goes to Seth Carr. Gotta be careful here if you're Partolo. He's dealing with lap traffic. Not completely out of the woods yet for things to really get ridiculous here and maybe lose second place. I doubt it, but when you see 4 or 5 guys in the same stretch of track right in front of him, you just never know. There is just a ridiculous battle going on right in front of Partolo. He must be hating life. Look, there's 5 guys dropping on that step down right now, and I mean, what are they? P20 or 29 or 26? No, that's Alec Horn, Wyatt Grant, Joey Bradstreet. That is all like basically a fight for top 10. It's right in front of. Oh, and that the huge crash collects a ton of them. Partolo hops over them all. And Partolo will pick up second in this moto. Here we go. This is the fight for third. Holden versus Tharp. Holden trying to get this inside line. Tharp hits a lap rider and goes down. And that will do it. Colin Holden gets on the box here in MX2 Race 1. Tharp is going to pick up 4th, and Cepeda will round out the top 5. Wilczek became the last rider on the lead lap. And you had Maverick Snyder 7th, Jeremy Schiabro 8th, Joey Carter 9th, and Joey Bradstreet was 10th. Wyatt Grant in 11th, Alec Horn in 12th, Jeremy Siebold in 13th, Alex Zellner 14th, Jack Gatlin right there in 15th, 16th for Ben Nerona, 17th Jeff Cooper, 18th for Tyler Nichols, 19th for Dylan Dallaire, and 20th was Tyler Blowers. Look at those penalties. Looks like the 16 of Zellner leaped over Siebold for 13th. And everything else stayed the same. Seth Carr, your big Moto number 1 winner. Okay, so I was confused. Carr is running number 38 on his back, and he's number 38 as well in the server. But the whole moto, I'm like, that bike looks like it says number 39. It does. I don't know whose bike this is. I'd have to imagine it's Carr's because it's a red plate, but it says 39. So I'm confused. All right. I'm going to take a break and rest my voice for just a minute. So you guys sit back and hang out, watch the server for a minute, and I'll be back on the other side of this break. All right, welcome back, everybody, here at round 2 of the Race Factory Gaming Grand Prix Championship from Arco di Trento for the MXGP of Trentino. I am Kellen Brower, set to go for 450 Moto number 1, aka MXGP Race 1. And before we drop the gate, let's give you guys a quick rundown of who is going to the gate in this one. Evan Holt, Jacob Hubbard, Pablo Vial, Teddy Lehman, Bridges, I don't know who that is, Teddy Lehman, Enzo Butigny, Justin Thomas, Brandon Larson, Hayden Stevenson, Adam Holm, Noah Bindis, Tom Quinault, Tucker Zimmerman, Ryan Rich, Killian Ortiz, Anthony Pachone, Bodie Parker, Lane Burks, Fernando Andrade, JT George, Kyle Boardman, Jason Stubbs, Nico Marchini, Colby Eaglin, Seth Shirley, Carl Novak, Connor Holiak, Eduardo Simos, Ashton Rakovsky, Braden Castellaneta, Aaron Rockefeller, Blake O'Brien, Devin Davis, Logan Leitzel, Caleb Hall, Zach Fisher, Tyler Lang, and Frank Jackson. They're all headed to the gate here for MXGP Race number 1, live here on Start Your Systems TV. Welcome to the chat, Saru, over on the YouTube side. Good to see a little bit of stuff going on over at YouTube. And now he's on Twitch. He's all over the gap. There's your reigning champion, Tyler Lang, and the big number 1 Gas, JIBR.co. Caleb Hall there on the 7. Really weird to see someone other than Alexis Leclerc be number 7, to be honest with you. Logan Leitzel with the Brock Tickle look-alike. Aaron Rockefeller, there's Devin Davis. Colby Eaglin looks like he doesn't have skins, but he's still rocking the GP stuff. Ryan Rich, Carl Novak, Connor Holiak, Braden Castellaneta, your red plate holder. On the number 8 machine, another number we haven't seen Castellaneta run in the US side, obviously. But it is go time here at Arco di Trento, round 2 of Race Factory Gaming Grand Prix Championship, MXGP Race number 1. Set to fire into turn number 1. Who is going to get the all-important hole shot? Let's find out. Fernando Andrade right there in the middle. Ethan Parks on the 14, Castellaneta on the 8 down the inside with a good look at that first turn. We are off and running. Andrade hits the gate. Jacob Hubbard gonna get a great start down the inside. Holiak pushes wide, and Hubbard has ripped another hole shot. No surprise there. So what happens behind him? It looks like T-Lang, Seth Shirley's up there. Holiak's gonna slide into the 2 ride. As our championship leader, Castellaneta, looks like he was maybe down. He's in 18th. Hubbard leads him at the top of the hill on lap number 1. It is Hubbard, T-Lang, Connor Holiak, Blake O'Brien, Seth Shirley, and a gaggle of other riders, all right in the mix with good starts. Whew. Nip and tuck right there. Look at how many riders are funneling up that uphill. Bryce 3535 in YouTube chat wants to know what happened to Leclerc. Nothing happened to him. It just looks like he's not racing GPs. This is RFGP, which is basically all the same cast of characters you normally see racing the Nationals or Supercross in MX Simulator competition, but instead they are racing GP tracks on Monday nights. It is the North American Championship for the GP season. And Jacob Hubbard leads Tyler Lang, Seth Shirley, Connor Holiak, and Evan Holt inside the top 5 here on the opening lap at Arco di Trento. So Hubbard looks like he was trying to run away and hide, and Tyler Lang says, "No good, sir, you will not be doing that today." And the champ has come to play. Trying to go outside to in, and you can see, yeah, Critter asked that the tracks get reset between motos. They do. It's just the way that the terrain rendering works that JLB has set up. It doesn't allow it to be auto-saved for once the server completely restarts every time. So now you're seeing basically a fresh racetrack again, and all those massive bumps and ruts that we were seeing at the end of the first 250 moto. Now it's just a highway again, so all these 450s are going to dig this track back out. Hubbard's trying to go inside. T-Lang's trying to get alongside on the outside. almost bar to bar at the top of the hill, and Hubbard cuts the outside line off to maintain the lead. Great fight between two guys out front, though, and Hubbard swaps and goes down instant legs on the right side of the track. Weird crash, and it tosses away the race lead for the 78. So tough break as he made it a lap and a half-ish for giving it over to Tyler Lang. But this is a fight that I think a lot of people wanted to see in the Outdoor Championship this year, and quite honestly, we haven't seen much of it. Tyler Lang, the 2021 Race Factor Gaming National Champ, against this man right here, the man that was called Thanos. He won all the Infinity Stones in a 250 last year. GP, 250 Supercross, 250 Outdoors. He won 250, the SMX thing that they did. And then won another 250 title indoors this year before finally taking the plunge and graduating to the 450 class outdoors. It's been a rough go for Seth Shirley. But now he is fighting for the race lead here at Arco di Trento as Tyler Lang leads, but Seth Shirley hot on his heels. It is Shirley second, Hayden Stevenson third, Pablo Vial fourth, Logan Leitzel fifth, Evan Holt sixth, Nico Marchini seventh, Bodie Parker eighth, Braden Castellaneta, your championship leader, in ninth, and Devin Davis rounding out our top 10. Hubbard picked it up in P11 after that early fall. All right, so let's see where our fastest laps are coming out of. It looks like Pablo Vial in fourth place lays in a 1:38.343. Remember, he was your second fastest qualifier. He's gelling well with this track here tonight. Camera's just going for a little spin right there. Here's Vial in the 27, Panini Motorsports Fantic. Like he is just trying to maybe latch on with Stevenson here. Or maybe he's just trying to make a pass. I don't know. He's setting up a couple different opportunities. This inside line pushes the envelope to the outside, gave him room. Nice move in the end. Vial goes by, but look at this, fighting back to the outside. Stevenson's going to try to swoop the line, and he does it. What a move by Hayden Stevenson, getting that position right back and moving into third place. Now Vial is kind of in an odd position here because here comes Logan Leitzel. This is a great three-rider battle. As our leaders are sprinting away, this fight is raging on, and Leitzel almost got a nose in there. Vial swooped the corner off and now is going right back after Stevenson for third. This time Vial was one of the worst laps inside of the top 5. Whoa, dualies! Weird spot for it. I didn't expect them to pop some dualies on the triple. Oh, Vial wants a piece. Oh, Leitzel showing a nose down the inside. Early runnings here, only 6 minutes in, but no one is playing nice inside this terrific battle for third place. As Vial made the pass on Stevenson, Stevenson fought back. Now he's going to chop the line off, make sure Vial can't get a run. And now Leitzel is swinging out, trying to make this work. Look at this line. Oh, front end washed out. And he's going to pick it up. He did not fall off the bike, but he loses a ton of time. Fight, man. Vial and Stevenson are just going at it. Oh, almost coming together. Problem is that they're not really catching the group in front of them. They're kind of losing time, so that's probably hurting their chances at going after the race leaders for both of them. Obviously, if you're Vial and you qualified the way that you did, you're thinking that you have a shot at winning this race, so you got to get going. Inside to inside for both riders. And the battle continues. So where is Vial going to find the opportunity this time? It might be right here, up alongside of him on the uphill triple. Scrubs it hard, comes across, and takes the line away. Brute force type of move out of the fast Frenchman. And he takes over third place with it. But the damage maybe is already done. 8-second disadvantage to T-Lang and Seth Shirley out front. And not out of the woods just yet with Stevenson still applying the pressure. Stevenson wants to use this inside line to maybe get back by, but y'all absolutely ripped that middle rut. And then Leitzel's kind of lost touch with them, but he's still hanging tough. It's about 3 seconds back. And here is your championship leader, Braden Castellaneta. So, all right, I got a theory for you guys. This is a 2025 Honda right here. I have always stood by the fact that I thought Jet Lawrence should have picked 8 instead of 18. He's had the opportunity to do it multiple times, and this year would, I think, be his last chance to potentially switch, as he has now won the 450 Supercross title, so it's another fresh title. That's a national championship that he can switch to. I think the 8 looks sick. Castellaneta's kind of showing it off for us here on this 2025 Honda. So we can see Jet Lawrence look just like this next year, guys. Come on. I want to get behind the movement. It's a good look, though. That Honda, like, honestly, might just need to get a render of that bike to post on the IGs, because that thing is hot. Look at that thing. All right, I'm just over here ogling. Let's get back to the racing. T-Lang still leads 3.5-ish seconds over Seth Shirley. New man to watch, though, without question, is this gentleman right here. Fastest last time by at a 1:38.187. 6.9 seconds off the lead. He is starting to cook. That's okay, Seabolt. Oh, Vial down. Really awkward crash. OJ'd into the face of that tabletop and then just kind of... That was the sickest turnaround I think I've ever seen someone do. It was just like stood up and going the right direction again. And instant crash again. We'll hold up to 28 of Frank Jackson a little bit. Yeah, I mean, no worries. I know I probably caught a few guys off guard with streaming last minute. Not to worry about the skins. I'm honestly a little surprised to have as many skins as I do. I thought there's only like 5 packs in the GP skins thread and then maybe another 6 or 7 sent to me on DMs. And I was like, oh man, we're going to be looking slim. But I guess what I should say is kudos to all you guys that did the combo packs, because I just have a ton of those, I guess. No problem, Matty Hemp. I hope you guys are enjoying the coverage. Oh, Marcini. Woo! Oh, man, that TSCZ Productions Triumph was dancing through the mechanics area right there. I'm just going on this camera real quick because I'm trying to like lay out where all the battles are and what we might be seeing. Hubbard, Rudkovsky. Here's Boardman, Leitzel, and Larson. That's a neat little battle right there for 13th. And then this one right here, Rudkovsky, Hubbard, lapping the 2.84 of JT George, and then they're not too far behind D. Davis. Here's Evan Holt. He is knocking on the back door of Nico Marcini. Thought about an inside line, didn't get it. And I'll apologize to Holtzy because I'm almost positive he sent me these skins, and then I totally left his DM on red. That is my bad. 100%. We got a change for the lead. Seth Shirley is taking it over here on lap number 8. Did not see where it happened, but he goes 38.8, and Lang goes 48.3. 3.6 seconds is the gap between the two of them. obviously had to be a crash with that variation in the times. But now the question is, will T-Lang just go straight up sicko mode right here and put in some time? Gonna close it down from 3.6 to 3.2 already. Red plate holders in motocross thus far is Payson in the 450s, I believe still. And I'm pretty sure it's still Seth Carr in the 250s, if I remember right. And obviously Seth Carr leading GPs in the 250s, won the first moto here tonight if you missed it. And Braden Castellaneta on the number 8 is the man with the red plate in this class after one round, and he hasn't even won a moto. He went 3-2 at Rio Lasardo. But there was so much up and down with the results throughout the field that he walked away as the overall winner. Lang just made a big mistake. Going to cost him another 1.5 seconds in his quest to try to run down Seth Shirley. Now Shirley might be in the catbird seat, as Ricky Carmichael would say, because he has the kind of leeway to find new lines and not worry about being closed down too much on T-Lang yet. Oh yeah, Panic Rev, you got gifted a sub all day long. Pablo Vial finally catching back up to Hayden Stevenson after his crash. Now Stevenson, he's already battled Vial once, kind of knows what to expect. And wait a minute, they're suddenly right on Tyler Lang. So Lang went down again. And the gap from Shirley to Lang is now 13 seconds. Lang just made another big mistake at the top of the hill. Oh, and Stevenson went down. Just when he was there for the opportunity to make something happen, he lays it down at the top of the hill. Vial moves to third, but I think Vial cares more about the fact he's going to move to second because Lang just went down again. So the champ kind of falling apart a little bit here. What is up, 7 Doggo? Got to wrangle it back in here if you're T-Lang and not let this get too far out of hand. Stevenson is lurking back there. Frank Jackson now in 5th. Marchini 6th. Evan Holtz at. We got dualies, trilies, all kinds of stuff. Seriously though, I'm gonna need some time when the stream goes off tonight. Just me and that number 8 Honda will be alone for a little bit. For real, that bike is so hot. Oh. Castellaneta leaps his way by Evan Holt. And so Castellaneta now has made it up to 7th. He used consistency last week to get the red plate in the first place. At this point, it's all about damage limitation for Castellaneta. Here is last week's Moto 2 winner, Colby Eagland. Finds himself in 8th spot now. Honestly, I think the 424 is a sick look. Like, if you're Eagland and you're 24 as your career number in Nationals, come over to GPs, run the 424. Why not? Just looking straight up like Jacob M out here. None of you guys will know who that is. That's okay. Deep throwback. Castellaneta starting to inch up to Nico Marchini. And then Frank Jackson is trying to close the gap down to Hayden Stevenson. T-Lang was able to get back by Stevenson. He is now 3rd. And what I'm really keen to see is whether Shirley settles into this race lead or not. Yeah, this time by 140.7 for Vial, 142.3 for Seth Shirley. So Vial is on the move again. The only problem is he's still got a lot of time to make up. Whoa, what a scrub. Using that little braking bump at the top of the hill. And now has a gap under 14 seconds. This is when the track is gnarly, but if you can ride it a certain way, it's probably the fastest. Everything's just big enough that you can kind of lay into it quite well, but also the bumps and stuff haven't gotten as gnarly yet. So I'm curious if Vial is going to find his zenith here a little bit. I could be wrong. I believe that the GP system is the single digits are not based on winning championships. Could be wrong. Apologies if I am. All down to 12.8. I have a sneaky feeling that this lap right here, low key, could be back in the 30s again. Let's see. Yep, 39.8. There you go. Back to his old stuff is Pablo Vial here. 11.9 seconds, and he just went 3 seconds a lap faster than Seth Shirley last time by. Now the problem he's having really is he's having to ride the ragged edge to do this. And just like that, I'm gonna shut up because I just keep saying stuff that literally comes true the second after I say it. And we're done about that. Here we go. Here's a fight for fourth. Stevenson versus Frank Jackson. Almost landing on Eduardo Simos right there was Hayden Stevenson. Jackson trying to use that inside to get a nose on Hayden Stevenson. Can't do it there, so try it here. And Stevenson, he blew the corner, but good job to swoop the outside and hold it. Gets that inside route really good. Jackson is right there, though. Excuse me, and Stevenson holds position. I gotta try to figure out why my chat box isn't working. I actually, and maybe you guys could tell me if you don't want this, I really want to have the chat box on the screen so whatever you guys see on the broadcast and react to, it comes up on the screen. But maybe that's a terrible idea because you guys will just say a bunch of random stuff. I don't know. I gotta figure out why the chat box ain't working though. Stevenson and Jackson continue to go back and forth. And then Castellaneta is in sixth, hoping that if those guys get together, he can take advantage. Meanwhile, T-Lang and Vial are going at it. Not sure what happened, and then, oh my God. The second I go to him, he goes down. Good Lord. Oh, and now Vial, the second I go to him, goes down. Okay, ready? Here we go. And to Seth Shirley. No, he's good. Not bringing out the curses to him, apparently. Just changing to these guys, and then they just freaking roll up the windows. Ridiculous. Okay, battle for second on again. Oh, Vial. Dicey right there, but Lang gets the spot. It was close. Lang is trying to defend now, and Vial's going to just funnel back to the inside and get him again. So the drama continues between these two. And they're 14 seconds off of Seth Shirley now. Meanwhile, Stevenson and Jackson are still just in a dogfight behind them. Ah, and Vial's down again at the top of the hill. Just cannot stay on two wheels, the fast Frenchman. Gonna get passed by Stevenson and fall right in the middle of that Stevenson-Jackson battle. Oh, and now Stevenson hits a tough block, and Vial, I swear, literally pushed him about 25 feet down the racetrack. I don't understand MX Simulator physics when it comes to ping and lag sometimes, but it certainly seemed to be a JLV certified moment. And here's Eaglin suddenly in front of Castellaneta, and then he blows that corner. Castellaneta goes by. So Castellaneta's up into the top 5 and has an outside shot at getting on the podium in this moto, which would be a pretty good salvage ride. Still got Eaglin just hovering right behind him, though, just trying to make something happen. Adam Holm and Pablo Vial crossing up a little bit. That was a little nip and tuck. And T-Lang and Seth Shirley. So Shirley, 6.8 second lead is not a foregone conclusion here. And Tharp in chat letting us know that Shirley did have a crash. So he's picked it back up and has continued on now 6 seconds in the lead. Question is whether or not Lang will be able to start inching that gap down at all. So I'd have to imagine Shirley's good about all this stuff. He'll just pick it up and continue on like nothing happened. No big deal. It is what it is. Lang is inching that gap down ever so slightly. We'll get back to that in a minute. As Eaglin goes off the track, exit stage right. Here comes Castellaneta alongside of him. And then Frank Jackson with Hayden Stevenson right behind them. This is four riders basically nose to tail in this position. This battle for position 5 on the racetrack, or 4 I should say. Castellaneta just took over 4th, excuse me. And got around Eaglin. Frank Jackson and Stevenson are just hoping and praying that they can maybe make a pass and get into that 4th position without too much turmoil as Eaglin goes down, OJing the triple at the top of the hill. Whoa, over that inside rut for Castellaneta. Now it's a drag race down the hill. Jackson's going to try to use this outside line. Let's see if it works. Up to the top. Not quite close enough. And we got a change for the lead. Seth Shirley went down again. He's back to 2nd, and Tyler Lang is leading this race. What a change of events. With about 4.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Tyler Lang back out front. So now Shirley's got to try to respond. And the battle for 3rd is heating up. Castellaneta's all over Vial. Whoa, lap traffic trying to get out of the way. Or maybe he's not. Ryan Rich. Oh, Vial gets cleaned and doesn't go off the bike somehow. Castellaneta and Jackson able to skirt by. Frank Jackson for 3rd. Not going to get there. Castellaneta shuts the door. Oh, big mistake, Castellaneta. No drive on the uphill. Here comes Jackson. Bar to bar at the top of the hill. Castellaneta short. Jackson tried to make the pass. But, oh, Jackson blocked by a rider down in the rut. And played it nice there with Castellaneta as well. So their fight continues. Hayden Stevenson is lurking back there with Eaglin. Pablo Vial also hanging on. All these guys separated by less than 4 seconds still. There's Jackson. There is Stevenson. There is Vial just taking all kinds of unorthodox lines, and then Colby Eaglin is not too far behind them either. Oh, Castellaneta stands it up and somehow only loses one position to Frank Jackson in the process. And then Vial's going to get around this lap. Drider go a little bit long at the top of the hill, and now Eaglin, excuse me, is trying to take advantage. Lapper doesn't know what to do. He's just trying to not get in the way. Shirley, Jackson, Castellaneta, Vial, and then Eaglin here in 6th is our top 5 positions, plus Eaglin in 6th. Oh, Vial wants Castellaneta so bad for 4th right now. Good Lord, the action is non-stop between these guys. And it's not over for the race lead yet either. We'll get back to that in a minute, but these guys have pushed onto the rear wheel of Frank Jackson again. Oh, Vial, that middle rut was almost perfect. You almost made that work beautifully. They're all going to funnel to the middle here. Jackson has defended this position so well because it's, I don't know, clear to me that Vial's the one pushing this battle right now. Castellaneta hasn't let Vial go. Oh my gosh, we almost landed on Castellaneta's back. 3 riders on screen, all going for it. Castellaneta inside, is that going to hurt him? Vial triples, not enough speed. Jacob Hubbard, a lap down, is just in this battle too. He's in 18th. And that's Seth Shirley, who just picked it up from a crash, and he gets hit from behind and goes down again. Eaglin goes by. Shirley is suddenly in 6th place in an instant. And Castellaneta and Vial still going at it. Vial finally gets the better of him to move into what is now 2nd place. As Eaglin slots into 4th with all this chaos, T-Lang has a 21-second lead in the matter of maybe a few minutes because, good Lord, Seth Shirley crashed this thing away in a hurry. He was leading this race 3 laps ago, and now with time expired, T-Lang is well and truly in control at the front. But it's really about what's going on behind him. Because Castellaneta wants to get 2nd. Vial has been the fastest rider on the track all race, but keeps crashing, making mistakes. Can he hold it together when the track is quite literally at its worst right now? We'll have to find out. Vial's actually pulling away from Castellaneta a little bit here and doing a pretty good job of it. 2 laps to go this time by. And Vial lays in a 40.4. Everyone else 43-ish on up. T-Lang is in cruise control out front, it looks. 44.5 is not a blistering lap time, but it is a lap time that will get it done for the champ. So at this point, he is just trying to bring it home and not get involved with any more lappers. There's lappers everywhere. Eduardo Simos made Lang's life a little bit more difficult there than it should have been. Ooh, swapped out of that corner. Got to be careful. This has the potential to get real weird with one big fall-off crash. Out of the number 1 machine. There's Vial, Castellaneta holding steady in 3rd. And Eaglin now 4th. Frank Jackson has gotten to 5th around Seth Shirley and crashes. Man, Shirley just not really himself late in this moto, and I don't know why. And now he goes down. Logan Leitzel goes by. Is Hayden Stevenson going to make it by? Nah, he's too far back. White flag is waving up front. Ooh, Eaglin got around Castellaneta. That was a pass for 3rd. Seems like Castellaneta wants it back, though. Both of them reading some lap traffic quite well. And Castellaneta is just hanging right on the hip here of Eagland. Just in case P3 is still a possibility. Everyone's kind of spread out on this final lap, though. Nothing really doing with the battles. Closest one maybe Marchini and Ethan Parks for 9th right now. But we will get back to that battle momentarily as final few corners coming up for this man right here. Won the opening moto last week at Riola Sardo. Looked like he was on his way to trying to repeat his MXGP crown. And then a really rough second moto. Colby Eaglin gets the win. Castellaneta gets the overall, but Lang has bounced right back. And Tyler Lang takes MXGP Race 1 here in Trentino. Oh, Vial and Eaglin get together. Castellaneta is going to be gifted 2nd place because of it. And these two are going to get up. Vial gets hit from behind by Adam Holm by the looks of it. And that's a gift and a half right there for Castellaneta. He was possibly on his way to getting 4th. He'll take 2nd all the way to the bank. Eaglin gets 3rd. Vial 4th, very close at the line. We'll see about penalties. This is Leitzel getting into the top 5 here at the flag, and will do so. Ooh, Frank Jackson down in 6th. Yeah, he's all by himself, though. He's going to... Yeah, he's going to finish 6th. Marchini. Almost through the front door right there. Hayden Stevenson. Goodness, it has gone from bad to worse for Seth Shirley. He was on Stevenson. Now he's way behind him. And got to watch out. Kyle Boardman's closing that gap down here on the final lap. Mind you, Seth Shirley was in a position to win this moto 10 minutes ago. And he is going to take 9th place. Can't imagine he's going to be stoked about that. Very frustrating ride. Kyle Boardman wraps up the top 10. Devin Davis, quiet little 11th place here for the 18. Brandon Larson looks like he'll pick up P12. 13th here for Ethan Parks. And Evan Holt, last rider on the lead lap in 14th. Bodie Parker, 15th. Adam Holmes, 16th. Enzo Buttigni, 17th. 18th for Caleb Hall, and 19th for Tom Quinoa, and 20th, Teddy Lehman. Take a look at penalties and see if anything affected our positions here. They did not. Everything stayed the exact status quo throughout the top 20. This man right here, JIBR.co's Tyler Lang takes MXGP Race 1 here in Trentino. We'll be back in just a moment while I save my voice. MX2 Race 2 coming up next. All right, and we are back. Race 2 coming up next here at Arco di Trento in Trentino for round 2 of the Race Factory Gaming Grand Prix Championship in MX Simulator. Race 1 in the MX2 division was, of course, won by Seth Carr by a substantial margin over his teammate Austin Partillo. We'll see if he can repeat the feat here in Moto 2. Going to the line for the MX2 class: Evan Runzeville, Xander Brion, Hunter Ash, Jax Lindsay, Joey Carter, Max Wilczek, Zane Durrell, Jack Gatlin, Seth Devers, Emmanuel Cepeda, Alec Horn, Jeremy Schiabro, Wyatt Grant, Nick Niles, Wes from Temecula Motorsports, Joey Bradstreet. Who else we got? Max Wilczek, Alec Horn, Tyler Nichols, Austin Schaefer, Harrison Gafford, George Cook, Jeff Cooper, Dylan Gatlin, Marcondes Feitosa, Jeff Blowers, John Heilman, Seth Creedy, Carson Bolin, Dylan Gatlin, Dylan Delaire, Jeremy Siebold, Zach Ritchie, Jonathan Hernandez, Seth Carr, Colin Holden, Caden Speck, Ben Nerona, Aiden Baker, Alex Zellner, Braden Tharp, Ryan Swanson, and Talon Zollers make up the list of your MX2 Race 2 here in Trentino. Yeah, Panic Rev, just be sure to DM me again to remind me after this stream. On Discord. I don't know if you have Discord, but that's how I'll invite you to the server. Prediction for the WIC winners for Wednesday, which I assume you're talking about the Race Factory National Race. I don't know. I don't know who's a good sand rider. I feel like we're going to see something stupid out of Payson. So I will go Payson, 450s. Tough to bet against Seth Carr right now on the 250 class, but Matherly did just win the last race. Got a sneaky suspicion Logan Leitzel wins 250 class on Wednesday. So I'll go Payson Johnson, Logan Leitzel for my winners. I do have an SYS Discord. I used to have a link to it on my website, but I don't know where it is now, unfortunately. But you can try to look for it on startyoursystems.com. I just updated it. Saru's also hitting you with updates right there. All right, here we go, folks. 250, race number 2. It's the MX2 class. Who's going to get the overall win? Who will win the moto? Here we go. Dylan Delaire gets a beauty of a jump on the 229. Jeff Cooper on the 117 tries to nose it in. It's Panini 1-2-3 again. This time, Austin Partillo rips the whole shot, and he'll get through the Race Tech banners first. Partillo with Carr, I think, going down, and Tharp is going to take over the lead. Boy, oh boy, that Seth Carr, who just went down going into turn 2, that's going to be a long moto for him. As Tharp is going to lead them around to the top of the hill here. Oh, big swap for Partillo. Joey Carter tries to take advantage and does so to get into second. Partillo going to try to fight right back. Remember, Partillo, if he wins this moto, will win the overall. As much as Seth Carr dominated the first moto, Carter and Partillo together. Couple riders stacking in. There's Wilczek. Somehow they only lost one position each as Alec Horn went by. We get an update here on where Seth Carr has slipped to. It looks like deep in the field unless I missed it. Oh, he's in 10th. 10th place for Seth Carr, your Moto 1 winner, as Tharp tries to sneak away at the front of the field here. Tharp is going to lead the opening lap from Partillo, Horn, Joey Carter, Dylan Delaire inside the top 5, Colin Holden 6th, Seth Carr, though, just looks like he moved his way into 6th place around Colin Holden. And maybe already on the move, trying to get to the front, not waste any more time back there dealing with those guys. Oh, a little mistake there for Tharp, stands it up in the corner. So Tharp was 4th in the first moto. Obviously Partillo 2nd, Holden 3rd. So Carr is already in a great position, as Partillo is 2-2 going to win the GP right now, but a 1-5 for Seth Carr. Yeah, he's made ridiculously good progress through the field in one single lap to get into 5th. And I mean, he won the first moto by, let's see what the official time was. Won the first moto by 1 minute and 12 seconds. Yeah. We go right around Joey Carter to get into 4th. I feel like Seth Carr lost that 250 indoor title, and it's just like awakened a beast. It's honestly insane how well he is riding and how much he can just do damage, even with a bad start this time around. Not off the gate well. I think went down going into the second turn. Still is in 4th place after 2 laps and just set the fastest lap of the race at a 1:39.960 as he goes to work right now on Alec Horn trying to get into 2nd place. Oh, that's a mistake there for Horn and an advantage pulled around by Seth Carr. To the middle rut and down. I mean, oh, and there's a mistake. Front end tuck. I was just about to say, I just don't feel like Seth Carr wants to hang around for very long in a fight for 3rd. Meanwhile, speaking of fight, Austin Partillo is going after Tharp for the lead. Inside move at the bottom of the hill. Doesn't quite get it. Whoa, Tharp almost looped out. And goes off the track at the top of the hill, so Partillo goes to the lead. Austin Partillo is your new race leader here in Trentino, and as it stands right now, only 5 minutes into this moto, he is in a position to win the overall as well. 2-1 scores for him as it stands. And Tharp is going to try to go back to work on trying to get by him once more. Meanwhile, Seth Carr is working on Alec Horn again to try to get back into 3rd place. Oh, tripling and getting the pass done. Beautiful by Seth Carr. Just a full send move. Landed in the right spot. Kind of seemed like he knew where Horn was going to go with that scrub. And committed. Makes the pass into 3rd place. It is a Panini Motorsports 1-2-3 once again. Oh, another mistake for Seth Carr. That one almost put him on the ground. I mean, obviously he did lay it down, but not actually off the machine and has to do it all again. Just little mistakes here and there. Left rider disconnecting there. Man, Seth Carr is dealing with some heat. Look at Colin Holden going after him now. Battle for the lead is still kind of brewing, so we'll keep an eye on if that one gets feisty. This one's a good one right now. 7/10 in it between Seth Carr and Colin Holden. Now it's on at the front. Tharp is all over Partolo again. 3/10. Oh, big triple for Tharp. But he cased it. Didn't get it as clean as his teammate Seth Carr had done so the lap before. And that time it doesn't work. That shows you the juxtaposition as a big old fishtail, and down goes Tharp. High centers over that little inside berm, and then here comes Alec Horn bringing Seth Carr with him. But just to finish that thought, you don't get that triple 100% clean. It's almost better to scrub double and roll the single. Kind of similar to Larocco's Leap in that vein, where obviously the stakes in Larocco's Leap a little bit higher. You short that, most likely you're going to fall. But in this case, this one you just come up short and kind of bounce and get no forward momentum. Whereas if you can scrub double, scrub the single out, a lot of forward momentum, a lot of power to the ground. So if you're going to go for that big triple, you got to know you're going to downside it, or else it is a bit of a time loss. And now Horn is in a little bit of a panini sandwich here. Oh, that's Tharp down. Tharp is down, and Holden going to push him out of the way to move into fourth. Seth Carr and Alec Horn also went by for second and third. And their fight continues. Now it is just a fight for the middle step of the podium. Colin Holden just hanging out in the background as well, hoping that he gets a chance to say something about what's going on in this lead group. Big triple to the top of the hill. Big case again. Whoa! And Horn down. Rear end caught and almost went off the bike right there. Very lucky to just kind of slide when he landed. And how about Colin Holden showing Seth Carr a wheel, and now Carr and Holden both go off the track because of a lapped rider, and then Carr rejoining goes down. There goes Tharp, there goes Carr, or Horn I should say, and then pirouetting right behind him is his teammate Seabolt with Joey Carter coming into the picture. But Seth Carr was just about to put himself in a good position here and goes down. So suddenly, the two guys that finished right behind Carr in the first moto are 1 and 2 on the racetrack. Partolo in a position to win the Grand Prix, and Colin Holden certainly going to get on the podium. Looking at some 3-2 scores. Partolo is just trying to check out up front. Wicked Heart in chat asking, anyone know who the go-to guy / Discord to get these sick kit PSDs? I messaged people on the forums and Discords and they never respond back. Usually, if you scroll through the forums, there's usually in models and skins, all these gear packs have been released somewhere. I don't know about the Liat one specifically, but a lot of these gear packs have been released, and then whoever released them will say, DM me in Discord with a link to their Discord if you want the PSDs. Usually it's for money, but that's the best spot to kind of look for them. Sometimes they're released on the forums or on the Discords, but it's pretty rare. I feel like most of the time they go to the forums so that it's at a public place that you can see, and it doesn't disappear, for example, in a Discord discussion somewhere. And here comes my daughter. You gonna say something tonight, Holly?
Holly brought me a new tuffy.
You got a new stuffy? Oh my gosh, that's a cool stuffy. Holly, do you know what tomorrow is? What's tomorrow?
Water Day. Tomorrow's Water Day.
And?
My birthday.
Your birthday is tomorrow. How old are you turning?
4 years old.
4 years old. That's awesome.
I don't know.
You don't know what cupcakes you're going to get?
I don't know. Yeah. Chocolate.
Chocolate cupcakes? She loves chocolate cupcakes.
Minecraft cupcakes and Barbie cupcakes.
You got Minecraft cupcakes?
Barbie cupcakes.
And Barbie cupcakes. Do you like playing Minecraft?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. Good night, everybody, says my daughter, who is turning 4 tomorrow. All right, let's get back to the action. Oh, and just in time to see Partolo throw the lead away, warmed up his arm, and threw it to the ground. So into the race lead goes Colin Holden. Colin Holden on the digital worldwide number 275 is out front here in Italy. Oh, and he goes down. Big one. Lands in the braking bumps. He's got a rider stuck on top of him. That's going to take some time to get going, and Partolo has gotten the lead back again. What an interesting upside-down maneuver that was. And now Partolo is back in a position to win this race again. Colin Holden, second again. So not much has changed other than these guys have lost a ton of ground to this man, and they did not want to do that whatsoever. They had a good gap established. Couple crashes back-to-back has allowed Seth Carr to only be 7 seconds off of the race lead this time. Oh, mistake. Seth Carr going off the track right there. And does not lose a position. That is a lapped rider right there on the 107, who's absolutely sending it right now. I don't even know who that is. Seth Devers. Going for it. And here's your battle for the lead still. Partolo and Holden at just about the halfway point of this one. Separated by about 2 seconds, and Colin Holden's going to go back to the drawing board again. And as I say that, he's going to slide out and go down into the Race Tech banners. This is the same section he crashed a lap ago, and now it cost him second place this time. Seth Carr moves into P2. So as it runs, Partolo, oh, is that Partolo? That is Partolo, down from the lead, and Seth Carr is now leading. Just past the halfway point, and the moto has been flipped upside down. Partolo is going right to getting on the heels of his teammate. Got that inside line pretty good. Carr likes to do that hop line right here. I don't know that it's faster. It's sweet, but it doesn't seem like it gained him any time. Now it's Seth Carr leading Austin Partolo. This is for the overall win and the moto win, obviously, as it runs. Right now, Seth Carr on 1-1 scores, Partolo on 2-2. If Partolo can flip the script here and get the pass done, he will now be in the position to win the overall with a 2-1 versus the 1-2. The better second moto score always gets it. And this is a great fight between the Panini Motorsports teammates for the race lead. Up to the top of the hill, hopping through those bumps nicely. And Carr is opening up the gap ever so slightly. Partolo's made a few too many mistakes now, so Carr has a 2.6 second advantage over his teammate. In the race lead, Alec Horn third, Siebold Trying to make it a Panini 1-2-3 is now 4th. Dylan Dallaire up into the top 5. And Dallaire, 19th in the first moto. Good turnaround ride for the 229. Now knocking on the door for a top 5 finish in this moto. Lead here with some good points if he's able to convert on it. We'll see if he gets it done. Braden Tharp holding on to 6th now after battling for the lead earlier on. Joey Carter 7th. Jeremy Schiabro dicing it up with Colin Holden for 8th. And if you're Colin Holden right now, life comes at you fast. You're leading the moto at one point, back-to-back crashes in the same spot, and suddenly you're in 8th. Really 9th now behind Jeremy Schiabro. Landing on that inside wall, a little bit off kilter there. Back to the battle, though, he goes. And not too far behind him is this man, John Heilman. Swap Moto Records, Weege biggest fan. Holding down P10, Max Wilczek, Ryan Swanson, Maverick Snyder, Alex Zellner, Jonathan Hernandez, Evan, Runzaville. Joey Bradstreet, Carson Bolin, and Hunter Ash in 19th. Actually, Marcondes Feitosa is in the 20th and final points paying position. And the battles rage on throughout the track. And yeah, Austin Partolo really warmed up his arm and threw it away. He's now in 5th. Battling his teammate Tharp. Oh, and Tharp goes off the track. This lap time from Partolo has got to be awful, and I don't know how. But he has gone from 2 seconds behind Seth Carr to 28 seconds behind him. I mean, like, it's just 2 big crashes, I guess. Maybe even 3 short ones, I guess. And that is insane how quickly that has turned around for Austin Partolo, who was in a position to maybe win the Grand Prix. Now he's certainly not. Yeah, 2:02.9, not a lap time you want to see pop up on the board there. But he's just trying to lay it down, man, putting the rear tire to the ground. Jesus! Tharp straight up and down through the air and slides it down. He's safe. Man's just appeared in the background right there, 12 o'clock, and somehow landed that thing. And continues to fight with his teammates, so they, yeah, now the heart rate's racing, though, I would imagine. I would put your heart in your stomach, and it's over. Down he goes. Yeah, certainly just planking straight up and down in the air right there, stiff as a board. Good grief, look at all these guys. We got Joey Carter, Tharp, Schiabro, Wilczek, Heilman nose to tail here with a lapped rider. Oh, and that lapped rider, jeez! Schiabro over the bars, just triple front flips down through the roller section. That was a huge one right there for Jeremy Schiabro, and Joey Carter also got kind of teed up from a lapper, sent him across the racetrack. Weird stuff going on right now, I'll tell you that. Here's a battle right now for 4th, Partolo and Seabolt. Partolo on the 10, Seabolt on the 210. I wonder for Jeremy Seabolt if it's weird at all following someone with his career number that he has in RF. He's been 10 for a decent little minute, 4 years now. And so he's seen the number 10 on his bike a ton, but then to follow somebody else that's using number 10, I wonder if that ever feels a little bit weird for him. I don't know. Tell you what feels weird for him is how hard the ground feels right there. That's not going to be a good sign. And he will not lose a position. He'll get going just before Wilczek gets there. Oh, and now Wilczek goes down. Goodness, man. These guys are getting beat up by this track tonight. And this man is making it look all too easy when maybe, 7 minutes ago, we're debating, is he going to crash too much and not win this overall? Partolo was in a position to do it. And he crashed. Car went by. Partolo crashed 4 more times or so. And now Seth Carr has a 21-second lead with 8 minutes and 2 laps left to go. Cruise control again for the points leader. Yeah, he's going to feel real good about this performance tonight because it could have gotten so much worse. And that's not going to be good right there as he goes down. Well, that's okay. Still picking up in the lead by probably about 12-ish seconds over that man, Alec Horn. Partolo back into third, just got around Dylan Dallaire. And we got to give some kudos here to Dylan Dallaire, who, like I said, 19th in the first moto, and he's just hung on with this lead group like it's nobody's business. Lost position right there, obviously, and now he is, give or take, another 2 seconds back of Partolo as we got guys pirouetting in the air right there. Now Partolo just went down right there at the bottom of the hill, same spot we just saw Wilczek go down, I think it was. Either way, Dylan Dallaire back into third. 19-3 potentially for Dylan Dallaire. And Dallaire was one of the riders that when we opened up that little sheet that showed how many sessions each rider had done on the track in qualifying, Dallaire certainly had put in some time. No question about it. But it's paying off. I mean, he's probably super frustrated to put in the work going into this round and end up 19th in the first moto, but probably all washes away with a third in the second one if he can hold on for this. That's not going to be good. Down. Right as I say it, Partolo's going to go by, and Seabolt not going to be close enough with Tharp, and Seabolt still battling. Tharp now back into 5th place, and it's Heilman, Carter, Wilczek, Schiabro rounding out the top 10 behind him. With obviously Seabolt breathing down his neck still, so that battle continues. Dylan Dallaire 4th. Seems like the closest battle maybe is the teammates here. Kind of looking at the splits behind them. Yeah, I think that's maybe it. And seeing whether or not they can go run down Dylan Dallaire or not. Little cheeky scrub right there. Whoa. Wait, that is Partolo down at the top of the hill, and he backflips and goes down again, a little overzealous on the throttle. So Seabolt, Tharp, Dylan Dallaire all go by. Alec Horn's got a ton of breathing room, and Dallaire is back into third in this race. There's so much lap traffic that it's been hard to decipher who's actually on the lead lap. At least in that case, the district designs or the Panini riders. Oh, Dallaire down. And gonna get passed by a couple guys right there. Actually only got passed by Seabolt in the end by the looks of it. Tharp must have went down right behind him. But anyway, the Panini Motorsports riders, they just kind of stick out a little bit like a sore thumb with that bright yellow and orange gear. So when I saw that down, I'm like, that has to be one of the leaders. But otherwise, these guys just keep going by. So many riders down that are not on the lead lap, sometimes several lap down. I mean, we got a handful of guys right now that look to still be doing laps and are 3 laps down. A lot of the field a lap down right now, from 17th to 31st. Those are all riders that are a lap down. So even though it wasn't quite the dominant, control it from the front type of moto that we saw in the first one out of Seth Carr. This one was a ride through the field and then dominant on top of that. And every time I talk about him for like, okay, something's going on tonight. Every time I talk positively about these guys for like a half second, they crash. And Carr still has plenty of time. He's going to pick it up probably about 15 seconds in the lead. Something's going on. I think these guys have got, they're like wired into the broadcast. And either they hear the broadcast, and now that they're on the stream, their heart rate goes up that they're being watched, or they're quite literally just like a bomb going off in their bike every single time I start talking about them. I mean, the track is definitely messed up. It is deep. The ruts are gnarly. The braking bumps are huge. Not easy. See what Seabolt's perspective of it is like. Actually, you know what? We haven't given enough credit to this guy right here. Alec Horn really doing a very solid job here in second place right now. And in the first moto, he was 12th. So very similar to Dylan Dallaire in 4th after finishing 19th in the first moto. Oh my God. Are you kidding me? We give Alec Horn credit and he runs over a tough block and goes down. He's going to pick it up in second still. Well, he's trying to throw it away, going up the track right there. 26 seconds off the lead now. Seabolt getting sideways in third there. Dallaire, Partillo. I mean, this track is brutal. Just watch Partillo and the different types of, like, just, it's not even about looking at the track. Just look at his handlebars, how much they're bouncing. That all those bounces that you see the handlebars do are little braking bumps or chop or something like that these guys have to deal with. And if you've ever played MX Simulator, like, you know, as he goes by Dylan Dallaire, who just slid out, the chop is the worst part. The big swooping ruts like this, easy. Honestly, braking bumps, not that difficult either. It's a little tiny chop and holes in the ground that you can barely see, that you get on the throttle and you think you're good, and then suddenly the rear end has trampolined you forward. And this track is full of that stuff right now. Just the gnarliest big bumps everywhere. This time it takes Partillo down. It's just reaching up and pulling these guys to the ground. So we got 3 laps to go. Time has now expired. Seth Carr already checked in out front, and he is lapping the 2.75 there of Colin Holden for 14th. Colin Holden, who was 3rd in the first moto and led this moto at one point, has really come apart in the second half. He's going to be quite frustrated, I'd have to imagine, with his current position on the track. As it goes around Ryan Swanson there, who's 13th. The 124 machine is not on the lead lap. Is it 124 or 134? Might be the 134 there of Dylan Gatlin, first man 2 laps down. Another rider going down at the top of the hill. Seth Carr is just trying to click off the laps. That is, if that's not a key to how difficult this track is right now, I don't know what is, because Carr just hit a single and launched out to flat but landed basically upside down and sideways because the bump that he hit off the face of the jump just pitched him backwards. Like, that's how much these guys are getting sucked around by this track right now. Like, this gives you an indication. Like, look at how deep that rut is right there, and these guys still trying to triple out of that corner. Goodness, Alec Horn is 30 seconds almost ahead of Jeremy Seabolt. And we are back to seeing a minute, basically, between first to third. So I bet you are, A-Wood, man. You're trying to get that Hawk Tua on this track. Bartolo dancing up that jump. So now he's just resorted and says, forget about it. I'm not trying to triple that anymore. I'm going inside. John Heilman's doing kind of the same thing. Just kind of cool perspective, because as the closer you get to the track with these cameras, the better you get to see like what these bumps are really like. Far away view, camera mode, you just don't really see it, but then you go on board and you see where the chop is, what they're hitting, how some of the ruts kind of funnel into certain areas. It's certainly unique the way that these tracks break down nowadays. I have only done one race with E-Road in my entire MX Simulator career, as there's car going down again, and it was an EU race this year. I retired before E-Road came around, so I never really got to experience this, but a lot of you players now, I mean, you probably never raced without E-Road. As the white flag waves for Seth Carr out front on his way to a second consecutive sweep to kick off the GPs. He'll have a massive championship lead after this. Bartolo entered second in the championship. He was 16 back entering. He was 19 back after the first moto. Right now, he is currently losing 7 more points. So Seth Carr is looking at already having a full moto's distance in terms of a championship lead after just 4 motos of racing. He's the only guy that's not only been fast, but consistent. And he's consistently winning to kick off Race Factory Gaming Grand Prix in 2024. 8 rounds still to go after this, so it's a long season. But if you're anybody other than Seth Carr, it might even be a longer season. Watching this man do what he has done through these 2 rounds so far. And on 2 different soils, too. I mean, he dominated Rio Lizardo, 1-1 last week in the sands of Sardinia, and now goes to the hard-packed soil, and probably much more choppy, notchy, ridiculously ruddy than it was at Rio Lizardo this weekend in Trentino. And just as dominant. Destroys everybody in the first moto by over a minute. Rides through quite a bit of the fast riders in Moto 2, crashes 3 or 4 times as well, and still is on his way to winning this thing by 30 seconds. Unbelievable what has happened to this man. You lose a Supercross title, and it turns on the win mode for every single thing after that. Seth Carr is your MX2 Grand Prix of Trentino winner. Won one day, sweeps the motos, and he's got a massive championship lead to boot. Now with it as well. Looks like it will be a 12-2 day for Alec Horn. Not going to be enough to get on the box most likely, but still good job to salvage some good points here in this second moto. Is that Dylan Delaire that he's lapping? Jesus, Dylan Delaire went from top 5 the whole moto to finishing 17th. That's gnarly. Okay. Alec Horn crosses in second. Seabolt looks like he has third pretty much locked up. And Seabolt first moto ended up finishing in the 14 spot. So 14-3, a 12-2. Austin Bartolo's 2-4 here almost certainly guarantees him second overall. And yeah, beyond that, I mean, Colin Holden was 12th, 312, won't beat a 12-2. Jeez. Arp with a 4-6? 4-7. Bartolo gets second overall with a 4th there. Wilczek crosses the line 5th. Wilczek low-key might go 6-5 for 3rd. Kind of depends on what happens with Tharp and Joey Carter right here. And they just got jumped over by Jeremy Schiabro, who just went down. And then Carter picked it up and yarded himself again. So Tharp is probably going to get 3rd overall with this right here, because he is going to go 4-6. I think that beats a 12-2. I don't know the exact math. Jeremy Schiabro, Maverick Snyder, Joey Carter, and John Heilman round out the top 10 in this moto. Alex Zellner, 11th. Colin Holden gets to 12th, so he actually ties with... No, he does not. He goes 12-3 versus a 12-2 for Alec Horn. Swanson, Cooper, Runzaville, Bullen, Dallaire, Emmanuel Cepeda, Wyatt Grant, Austin Schaefer and Tyler Blowers. Yeah, that's it right there. Dylan Delaire 17th, goes 19-17 when he was almost on the podium with like 3 laps to go. Crazy turn of events there. Still waiting on one rider to finish up. And we will have this one in the books for the MX2 Grand Prix of Trentino. Here we go. Penalties are in. Ooh, Schiabro jumps a lot of spots. Tharp goes all the way back to 8th. So Tharp may have just lost a podium because of that. 4.8 will not beat Wilczek's 6.5. And I think Wilczek just went 6.5 for 3rd. Good Lord, this race was weird. Zellner, Colin Holden, everything else kind of stayed the same back here. Ooh, Wyatt Grant goes from 19th to 21st on cuts. Not going to get a point this moto. That one will sting. But this man was perfect. And he now raids the channel with 11 people. Welcome all the Seth Carr fans in. Your man has picked up the win here in Trentino tonight. And a dominating one at that as well. So congratulations to Seth Carr. That'll do it for our MX2 action here tonight. Still one moto to go. MXGP Race 2 coming up. And we'll be right back on the other side of this break. And welcome back into round 2 of the Race Factor Gaming Grand Prix Championship live here on Start Your Systems TV. I am Kellen Brower, and we are ready to bring you guys the final race of the night, MXGP Race 2 coming up. Bit of a wild first moto saw Tyler Lang take it. Braden Castellaneta able to get all the way up to 2nd from pretty bad start. And then a bunch of chaos behind that. Last lap crashes for Colby Eagland and a few others. And Seth Shirley having a moto to forget in that one when he was potentially on his way to winning it. And instead ends up P9 at the flag. T-Lang took the win ahead of Braden Castellaneta, Colby Eagland, Pablo Vial, Logan Leitzel, Frank Jackson, Nico Marchini, Hayden Stevenson, Seth Shirley, and Kyle Boardman. That's a tough break for Dylan Delaire, letting us know in chat that his controller disconnected on the last lap while running P3. That's why he ended up 17th. That is brutal. That controller would be out the window. And if you didn't have a window, it would be hitting the wall very hard. Feel for you there. But good ride nonetheless. And hopefully we'll see you bounce back next week for round 3 of this series. Let's go racing here. Final one of the night. Get loaded in, get that timer up, and get ready to drop the gate. The 30 card is sideways. Who's going to get the all-important hole shot down the inside? It's been coming pretty good from about this spot here. We're off and running. MXGP Race 2. The 30 is going to get to the corner first, but he's going to push out a little bit wide with Jacob Hubbard. And Hubbard does get the hole shot, I think, officially. Brandon Larson's going to take the race lead. It's B-Lars, Hubbard, Jacob Arnbrister trying to go down the inside and take the lead. He might get it. Jacob Arnbrister taking the lead, and Hubbard's going down out of third. What? How does he not go down right there? And just whips in front of the whole field. He basically just landed on his hip bone and bounced right back up. Oh, and he's cutting Lang off, and Lang's going to go down and get landed on. Hubbard's going to get pitched sideways at the top of the hill, get into Lane Burks. I don't know how T-Lang didn't crash. I don't know how Hubbard is still on 2 wheels. I don't know what time of day it is right now. It is all over the place, but Brandon Larson has taken over the lead again from Arnbrister. B-Lars, Arnbrister, Hayden Stevenson, Tucker Zimmerman, Braden Castellaneta, your top 5 early in this one. I'm still just mind-blown that Hubbard did not go down in front of the whole field at the top of the hill right there, landing on his butt, his hip bone basically, and bouncing right back up. I mean, that's a stroke of luck if I've ever seen it. But B-Lars taking off with the race lead, and we know B-Lars, when he gets out front, can kind of have some sneaky good speed. So can he lead a few laps out front before some big dogs get into the play here? Hayden Stevenson is in 3rd place trying to get in the mix, and Arnbrister is going to take the lead back away. Jacob Arnbrister on the Phil's All Fun, number 32, back in the race lead. Squares off the corner, trying to defend the line from the 30 there of B-Lars. And up the uphill we go again. Now Arnbrister getting this corner at the bottom of the hill very well, so much so that he can even scrub the top of the hill, and that's going to bite him. He bounces and swaps to the ground. And here goes several riders through. He's going to lose probably 8, 9, 10 spots or so. Tough break there for the 32. Let's get back to our leader now, B-Lars. 2.3 seconds ahead of Zimmerman. Zimmerman dealing with Logan Leitzel, trying to peek down the inside. Can Leitzel get that pass done? Drag race to the top of the hill, little scrub. And does get it around the outside on the 20. So Logan Leitzel showing up here in Moto 2. He was 5th in the first Moto. And now in a really good position to start off Moto 2. Adam Holm, looks like he's in a good spot in 6th. Castellaneta 7th. Caleb Hall 11th. Hayden Stevenson has drifted back to 12th. Seth Shirley is 14th. And the defending champ, Tyler Lang, is in 18th spot after about a lap and a half of racing here. So kind of back to what we saw at Riola Sardo last week. Up and down results throughout the field. And that could certainly change the overall perspective by quite a bit. Oh, Leitzel slide out to Endo, and Zimmerman goes back by. There goes Hubbard. There goes Adam Holm. Castellaneta squeaks through. Arnbrister and Blake O'Brien also went by. So Leitzel now rejoins alongside Arnbrister over the finish line jump, and is going to push him out in the corner right there to go back into 7th by the look of it. Here's Castellaneta now in 5th, right behind Adam Holm, former MXGP world champion, down the inside there. And our current points leader, Castellaneta, who low-key might walk away with a GP win here based on how up and down the results are throughout the field. Again, he was 2nd in the first Moto, but he had to kind of work for it to get there in the first place. And now in this 2nd Moto, he is kind of the leader of all the heavy hitters that we saw in the first Moto. As he's going to go down the inside to try to get home, but tuck the front end. But he's got Caleb Hall on the 7 right back there as well. And Lang's now made it up to 13th. Shirley ran the fastest lap of the race last time by and is 18th. Where is Pablo Vial? My goodness, 34th place. The man who was battling for the win in the first moto. And ended up in 4th. Vial has been probably the fastest rider all night long, but has not been able to stay off the ground, and looks like the ground has found him once again. Just kind of trying to make some sense of all this as Hubbard lays in fastest lap of the race in 2nd place now behind Brandon Larson. There's the 78 machine who whole shot both motos once again tonight. Still has Zimmerman kind of hanging on his hip here. And he was the only person sub 140s last time by. Yeah, everyone else... Actually, everyone else 141 or higher. No one else was in the 140s, and Hubbard went 139.640. So fastest rider on the track. Let's see if he can eat away at his old buddy Brandon Larson's lead here. Be keen to see what's going on with if they're in the same Discord as per usual and chatting with each other about this situation. Oh, Hubbard, yeah, he's slipping through. Oh, gosh, camera switches to him, and he's just holding on for dear life to the edge of the racetrack. Allows Zimmerman right back into the picture again. So 6.0 second lead now for B. Lars as he continues to hold on to it. Battle for 4th is on. Adam Holm versus Castellaneta. Castellaneta's trying this inside. Let's see if it works coming down the hill. Yeah, he's got it. Nothing Holm can do about that as Castellaneta cuts across and takes the inside line through the finish line jump. And it's Holm, Caleb Hall, Kyle Boardman, Teddy Lehman, Hayden Stevenson, Blake O'Brien, and then T-Lang now up into 11th. But he's right there with Colby Eaglin is T-Lang, so they're having to try to work through together. And hopefully for their sake, they're not really holding each other up all that much as this battle between Caleb Hall and Adam Holm goes on. Oh, inside move. The 7 of Hall is going to get that pass done on Holm. And look at in the background, Kyle Boardman, who I believe is another MX Bikes transplant. Racing both series. I could be wrong. I always kind of get mixed up with some of these names. But either way, he's dicing it up now with Adam Holm. And not able to get a move there just yet. But looking for the opportunity. The 1-7 and the 1-7-1 throwing dualies. Honda versus Gas as well. So they launch down that step down, and let's see Boardman. Let's see if he triples right here. If he can make this pass. Holm gets on the power though, and Boardman certainly close enough to entertain a pass attempt, but not able to do so. The battle continues. Good action going on behind them as well as Teddy Lehman holds a little group up here. Oh, and he goes down the inside. And there's Lang making a nice move down the inside to get by Evan Holt. And he's going with Colby Eaglin. They have been locked together trying to work forward. They're now 9th and 10th on the racetrack, right behind Blake O'Brien in front of them. And Evan Holt doesn't care who you are or what name is on your jersey. He is trying to go right back by you. jump up the hill, and Lang is trying to weave through that inside. Keeping it close here with Blake O'Brien, and then they're not too far behind Caleb Hall, Kyle Boardman, Adam Holm. This is a nice freight train kind of condensing together here. And before long, it might be a good battle as Holm went down and, mini dualies. O'Brien got backwards, and they're both going to get Caleb Hall at the top of the hill. What a move. So O'Brien suddenly shoots from 9th up to 6th, I believe. Like I said, they both got Caleb Hall. T-Lang jumping to the top of the hill, right in behind these guys. And Hall is just going right back to the drawing board, trying to get both of them. He might have a move on Lang down the inside. Lang around the outside makes it work, and then they're both trying to get to the inside here of the 99 machine. That's O'Brien. And this time Lang gets it. Hall's trying to go with them, and through the front door he goes and down. Oh, man, he tried to follow his buddy through there, and it just did not work. O'Brien just says, all right, whatever, I'll take that position. Who is that down right there at the bottom of the hill? That is that Tucker Zimmerman? Yes. Zimmerman just picking it up from a crash. By the way, look at this, 3 wide at the top of the hill. Oh, God, what's this going to look like come the corner? Yeah, they all kind of made it. Oh, they're still pretty much 3 wide off the table. Caleb Hall trying to get to the inside there of Teddy Lehman, and Adam Holm is just trying not to get involved too much of it. We get back to that battle because Jacob Hubbard has taken over the race lead. Brandon Larson, not sure if he crashed, but Hubbard's been running 139s, 139.6, 139.7, and is now into the race lead by 5.4 seconds over B-Lars. And Larson is going to start feeling the heat before long from Braden Castellaneta. And Castellaneta's got to get on his horse here pretty quick, because T-Lang is now in 4th and putting in 39s as well, similar to what Hubbard's laying down out front. So if you're Castellaneta and you're trying to maintain your championship lead and maybe win this Grand Prix, cannot allow Lang to get much closer than he already is, 5 seconds behind him, 12 minutes into this moto. Next up for Castellaneta would be B-Lars, and that gap is about 2 seconds between the two of them now. Going forward with Castellaneta. Oh, he's going to get it right there. B-Lars hit Hubbard. That's Castellaneta into the lead. Hubbard was down because he hit Hubbard, who was also on the ground. B-Lars did not actually fall off the bike. And now these two continue a little fight for what is now 2nd place as Castellaneta's taken over the lead, and T-Lang is jumping into the picture right there. There's Lang on the gas. So now Braden Castellaneta has found his way into an unfamiliar territory so far in the GP season for him. He's leading the race. Did not win a single moto yet this year and still has the points lead. Now he's got to try to win this one to win the overall here at Trentino. And Hubbard rear end kick down, and Castellaneta's down from the lead. And here's the battle for the lead, going at it. Dualies, big ones, as Hubbard lays it over next to B-Lars to take the lead back. And here comes T-Lang jumping into the corner behind them. Great action between all 3 of these guys. And Castellaneta is kicking himself, now back in 5th. Don't forget, Colby Eaglin has now moved to 4th. He's going to get in this fight. As Lang tries to go to work on Brandon Larson for 2nd. Hubbard back into the lead. Now can Hubbard settle down and start running those times that he was running? It's Hubbard, Larson, Lang, Eaglin, Castellaneta, your top 5 here, just ahead of the halfway point of this moto. Larson's got a great run down this straightaway to the outside of Hubbard, thinks better of it, and Lang's going to try a super inside line here to get B-Lars. Let's see if he gets it. Oh, it's close. Larson comes out with the 2nd position still and cuts across to hold the spot. Lang side by side. Larson whips it in his face across. Oh, Lap traffic trying to not get in the way there. And that hindered Lang just ever so slightly. Not too much time loss, but just enough that he's not on Larson's tail anymore. And Larson almost looks like he wants to go back after Hubbard, who just made a mistake. Lap traffic was down. Hubbard into a tough block. Gets passed by both of them. And then Larson crashes the lead away. Lang to the front, and now Hubbard crashes by himself in second. Takes lappers with him. There goes Eaglin by now in the third as Larson gets up in third place, or in second now. Castellaneta. Oh, Hubbard, don't get caught up with those guys. Evan Holt goes by into fifth, so Hubbard goes from basically the lead to sixth in one foul swoop. Elars went by, and T-Lang is now leading this race. Man, oh man, that changed up quickly, and now that we are halfway in, Lang is coming to the flag as your race leader once again, trying to make it 3 out of 4 moto wins to start the season. And I'm trying to remember the points gap. I'm just going to go look. Excuse me. But Lang is in a really good position to maybe sweep this Grand Prix, and it could also mean leading the championship as well. He was 8 points back of Castellaneta coming into this round. And Castellaneta, who is now running in fourth, is going to be 2 points back of Lang if it finishes like this. So Lang trying to retake the championship lead. Colby Eagland second in this moto, and Lang is down. Lap traffic, I believe, played a factor there. And that'll see Eagland go into the race lead. Wow. All right, and Belars goes back into second. Suddenly Castellaneta is right there behind Lang. And we have yet another interesting race developing for the lead. Eagland just bit his time there and waited for the mistake to come, and it came in the form of a T-Lang run-in with a lapper. Now the battle for second is on. Larson versus Lang, dropping down the hill with Castellaneta hanging out in the background. Larson to the outside, Lang to the inside. See how those kind of work out evenly, but then Lang's going to get a great run down this straightaway, and he's like this inside line to try to set up passes. He rails into the corner and blows it and goes down. Big off right there. That allows Castellaneta to go by. And Hubbard went through with Holtze, O'Brien, and now Lang is going to pick it up in seventh. So he went from leading to seventh in less than a lap, all thanks to 2 crashes. That just goes to show how quickly things can change here in MX Simulator Professional Gaming. So now Eagland is leading this moto, and if I recall correctly, Eagland finished the first moto in 3rd place, and he did. So scratch everything I just said. Your new championship leader as it runs, I believe it'd be a tie. Excuse me. No, by 2 points over Braden Castellaneta as it runs would be Colby Eagland. He would win this Grand Prix going 3-1. And so let's see if Eagland can keep it on 2 wheels here. Trying to not make that big mistake. And here comes Castellaneta now reeling in Brandon Larson. These guys are still only a few seconds behind Eagland in case things get wild again. And Lang has made it back into 6th. He got back around Blake O'Brien. He is only 12 seconds off the lead as Larson goes for a little bit of a ride, keeps it on 2 wheels and loses a position. Castellaneta back into 2nd. So now Castellaneta, who is 1 point up on Eaglin entering this round, is sitting on 2-2 scores while Eaglin is on 3-1. That is a 1 point difference right there. They would be tied atop the championship standings after this race, and Eaglin would win the overall with a 3-1 to a 2-2 for Castellaneta. Don't count out Tyler Lang, who won the first moto. He is trying to get back into this fight. And he is all over Evan Holt in 4th place right now, trying to make something happen as Castellaneta makes a small mistake. And here is that battle I mentioned. Holtze, Lang, and Hubbard nose to tail. And that is 4, 5, 6 on the racetrack right now. Oh, and down goes Holtze. Lang finds his way back into 4th, and he's bringing Hubbard with him. Rider off the track at the top of the hill, but not one of the leaders. So I'm curious to see what Lang's lap times are this time by, because it'll give us a good indication of what is possible for him. Up and over the finish line jump for Castellaneta. 3.1 seconds back, a 40.7 last time by for Castellaneta. Was 1.5 seconds faster than Colby Eaglin ahead of him, and he's only 3 seconds back. But the big mover, a 40.2, fastest lap on the track last time by, 10 seconds off the lead, is Tyler Lang. And we still have 9 minutes, give or take, plus 2 laps to go. Do not count out the defending champ. There is ample opportunities for him to get it done in the closing stages of this. 42.2, 40.7, Castellaneta. Let's just go on board with the championship leader and see what he's able to get done here. Look at that scrub. Almost didn't bring it back. Seems like Eaglin's maybe up the pace a little bit, because Castellaneta was inching that gap down, and then Eaglin stretched it back out to almost 4 seconds. So some ebb and flow going on right here between our 2 leaders as Lang continues to rip some competitive laps together. Got the gap down to about 9 seconds off the lead. We are closing up on the final 7 minutes of this race. 41.9 Castellaneta, 41.2 Colby Eaglin. He responded. Larson 42.2 and a 39.3. Tyler Lang is on one right now. He is cooking up some quality lap times, lap after lap. Switched away from that inside. He's all gas around the outside, and he is on B-Lars in a battle for 3rd. Larson cuts across. Lang just holds the nose a little bit high, trying not to get the front wheel to be taken off midair. And up the hill we go, bouncing through some of those ruts the inside. So now the question remains for Lang is, you caught B-Lars, now where can you pass him? And for him, B-Lars is just a small piece of the puzzle. He wants to go get Castellaneta because that would win him the Grand Prix. If he can at least get into 2nd place, a 1-2 would beat the 3-1 out of Eaglin. Eaglin would still leave as the championship points leader after 2 rounds, but yeah, that overall win is going to mean a lot to Lang here tonight if he can get it done. So off the top of the hill we go. 6 minutes and a lap left to go. B-Lars trying to deal with some lap traffic. The 170 machine trying to get out of the way. It's Teddy Lehman. Not getting out of the way just yet. And now starting to play a little bit of a spoiler in this. I don't think that's Teddy Lehman, though. I think it's 85, whoever that is. Whoever it is, they are not moving whatsoever. And now they go down right in front of them. That was tight. But suddenly B-Lars has an earful of T-Lang once again on the uphill. And kind of the same story this time by. Right on him, can't do anything about it. But maybe close enough now coming into the hills where he can just force a pass like that. For example, B-Lars high centers on the rut, and Lang just takes it like normal and goes right by him. Not often passes work out like that, but Tyler Lang will take it every day of the week and on a Tuesday. So next up for him, as I said, eyes on the prize. He's got to go get this man, Braden Castellaneta, to win the overall. Right now, it is a complete tie for the overall win between Eaglin and Lang, I should say, both on 45 points, 1-3-3-1. Braden Castellaneta's on 44 points with a 2-2 performance. And as mentioned, it would be dual red plates next week if it stays as is. But we still have decent little bit of racing left to go here. 4 minutes plus 2 laps doesn't sound like a lot, but that basically amounts to probably another 5 laps of racing. And Colby Eaglin checks in out front yet again. Lap 15, or lap 16, I should say. 15 laps done. Colby Eaglin, Braden Castellaneta, Tyler Lang. And Lang looks to be the aggressor of the three. On his horse, pushing that JIBR.co gas to its limits. And that time ran a 140.8. They both were kind of significantly faster than Eaglin out front, who did a 43.4, a 41.5 out of Castellaneta, and a 40.8 out of Lang. It is down to these three for this moto win. It is down to these three for the overall win, and it kind of seems like whoever wins the moto will get the overall as well. Based on the way things have played out tonight, would not shock me if that's how it ends up being in the end. And I think Lang would love to go 1-1 as well if he can get it done. But he's got to get Castellaneta first to even have a shot at Eaglin. And Castellaneta's got his eyes focused on Eaglin for the race lead. So this is coming very nicely together for a potential 3-rider battle for this race win. Lang has really found his landing points, his corner entries and exits, all of it starting to come together. One lapper between Eaglin and Castellaneta now has more or less generated what's a true battle for second. As they jump down the hill together. That lapper is swinging wide, trying to give some room, I believe. That is Pablo Vial, who we mentioned earlier is having a very rough second moto. He's certainly factored to be in this group. He was 4th in the first moto. Now he's being lapped. He's trying to unlap himself on Eaglin, but it'd behoove him to just get the heck out of the way and let this battle happen, because it's not a good look right now what he's doing, especially interfering with one of the best battles we've had all night. But he's going to do it anyway. Whatever. Going to pass Colby Eaglin and make Eaglin have to deal with him to even try to win this race. And now he's defending the inside line so Castellaneta and Lang can't go by. Finally swings out wide. Castellaneta goes inside, trying to get to Eaglin, and Vial's still just in the way. Just go off the main line. Get out of the way. Thank you. Finally, these guys all go by, and we have a 3-rider battle for the win. Lang still dealing with Vial, but going to cut the line off. And as Castellaneta tries to size up Eaglin, Lang is pushing down the hill, and oh, Castellaneta mistake and goes down. He lands on Caleb Hall. Down he goes, and T-Lang now just has Eaglin in front of him. T-Lang is in a position to win the Grand Prix, but he wants to go 1-1. 1 minute left on the clock. These guys are going to have 3 to go this time by. Bouncing through the corners together. And Eaglin, tough part about Eaglin's situation is he certainly has the speed to do what Lang's doing, but he's going to have to wick it back up again to start doing it all over again. And that's a huge sigh of relief right there for Eagland to have Lang make that mistake and suddenly some breathing room again, 3.4 seconds. But I feel like the way Lang's been riding, he's just going to hold that gap right back up. Oh my goodness, almost went down though. Bounced into that corner awkwardly. And Eagland's still 3.6 ahead. Here we go though. More and more lap traffic is starting to surface ahead of him. He's probably got 3 or 4 guys going up the hill right in front of him, and one of them appears to be Logan Leitzel on the 20, who was battling for the lead of this race at one point and 5th in the first moto. Certainly did not go the way he expected things to go. But Eagland, oddly enough, trying to make it 2 weeks in a row that Lang wins the first moto and Eagland wins the second. But this time, one of them will win the overall, at least highly likely that that's the case. All right, 2-lap board set to come out this time by. Oh, front end pushing there for Eagland. Riding the fine edge of traction. Now it's down to 2 seconds, and a lap rider down in the rut right there. Both of them able to get by him quite nicely. And Lang, like I said, has been slowly pulling that gap back down once again. Lap traffic down, out of the way. And Castellaneta went down again, so it's down to these two to settle this moto win. Lang has got the overall win, but it's really up to whether or not he'll get this moto win or not. Eagland is going to take the championship lead as it runs, but you have to imagine Lang really badly wants to beat him anyway. And actually, I think if Lang beats Eagland and goes 1-1 tonight, he would take over the championship lead by a single point over Eagland. And he is on him. Oh, but pushed over the rut right there. Lap traffic jumping back in the way there, but should quickly move. And back to almost 2 seconds, the gap. So now it's all or nothing for T-Lang on this final lap. He's either got to lay in a quali lap and make a pass, or Eagland's going to win this moto. Oh, and Eagland does make that big mistake and pirouettes to the ground, and now he's got to do the chasing. Final lap underway, white flag in the air, and it's T-Lang out in front. Eagland goes immediate to the attack on the outside, squares off the corner, tries to get that power down. And now Lang has to be the defensive rider in this case, which he has not been doing much of this moto. Oh, and now he's down. Big off. He bounced awkwardly 3 or 4 times at that one specific location, and finally it bites him. Colby Eagland is taking the lead, and that should be it for good. 7-second advantage on the final lap. Should be able to cruise it home. And as mentioned, it'll be a 3-1 performance. Not enough to claim the overall. That's going to go to T-Lang on a 1-2. As Lang will walk out of here with 47 points. Eagland 45 points. But crucially, Eagland will take over the championship lead. I think it would be by about 6 points or so. 5 points, I think, over T-Lang. Castellaneta also going to be hanging out right there as well. We'll figure all that when we get there. But right now, this is the man of the final lap here. Colby Eagland put it all together this moto and charged through the field. He did so with Tyler Lang and waited for Lang to make the crucial mistakes that he did. And And when he did, Eagland was there to pounce. It's not going to be the overall win, but he'll take it anyway for the second week in a row. Colby Eagland takes the second moto here at Trentino, and your overall winner is going to be this man. Tyler Lang takes the MXGP of Trentino in MX Simulator. A 1-2 performance today takes the overall win, and with it, we should see the red plates disappear off the bike of this man in Castellaneta. He will be, I think, 1 or 2 points back in the championship. That'll be it for him. Third overall today, though. They definitely were the class of the field. Top 3 in both motos. And how about Brandon Larson quietly having a very, very good ride in this moto? The second I say his name, he goes down. But, yeah, B-Lars, let's see, where was he in the first moto? 12th? Follows it up with a 4th in this one, even led for a little bit. Have to imagine he'll be pretty happy with that. And then Blake O'Brien, a strong ride for him as well, gets 5th in this moto. O'Brien was 34th in the first moto, ends up top 5, moto 2. Adam Holm, a turnaround ride for him as well. He was 16th in the first moto, now 6th in this one. Kyle Boardman goes 10-7. Seth Surley is going to go 9-8. Evan Holt looks like he is going to go 14-9, and Bodie Parker, I think. No, Teddy Lehman just went by him. Teddy Lehman was 20th in the first moto, looking to pick up P10 in this one. Bodie Parker on his way to a 15-11 day by the looks of it. Ethan Park's going to go 13-12. Jacob Hubbard going to be disappointed not to finish in the top 10 in this one. He was in a much better position early in the moto. And this time he will end up in 13th as he cuts across the track right there. So Hubbard's going to go 22-13. You got Jason Stubbs in 14th, Ashton Rakowski 15th, Logan Leitzel 16th, Frank Jackson 17th, Devin Davis 18th, Hayden Stevenson 19th, and Aaron Rockefeller was 20th. One more rider still to finish up here. And we will have our results confirmed or denied. There we go. Penalties not affecting the top 10. Affecting anything in the top 20. Everyone that I just pointed out stayed in the same positions this moto. Eagland wins the moto. Lang wins the overall. Eagland, your red plate holder, going into round 3 next week. And that is going to do it for us here at Start Your Systems TV for round 2 of the Race Factor Gaming Grand Prix Championship in MX Simulator. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. We will be here with you from next week onward and covering all of the GP funsies from here. Good racing tonight. Fantastic racetrack. Always love coming to Trentino and seeing what racing we get. Hopefully you will be back with us for the following rounds. Next Monday, forget what GP it is, we'll be there, and then the following Monday after that, then we have a weekend off. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and we look forward to seeing you in all of our future GP rounds. Thank you to the Race Factor Gaming track crew and racefactorgaming.com for all the support. Shout out to Caden Speck, who will be a sponsor on the broadcast next week. He was a big part of helping me come back to stream GPs as well. And to all of you that were here tonight, very much appreciated. We had a lot of Tier 1 subs. Gavin 1559 giving away a sub to Panic Rev. Who else? We also had iMoto subbing, Wick DCS, Dave Ladd, and Thick Boy subbing. All of you guys, thank you so much for the support. Very, very much appreciated. And we'll be back next week with more GPs. But join us on Wednesday night, round 5 of the AMA National Championship in MX Simulator from Southwick. The deep sands of Southwick. Myself and Andrew Wood will have the coverage on Wednesday for that one. So thanks for tuning in. And we will see you guys on Wednesday for round 5 of AMA Pro Motocross and MX Simulator. Until then, I hope you guys enjoy, and we'll see you on the next one. So long for now.